Welcome back, everyone. This good day has more exciting stories left. Now, I am sure you have been looking forward to this part of the day, because this personality is a multi-potentialite. In simple words, imagine someone who is a doctor and a dancer at the same time. First of all, can we have a round of applause on that statement? From working in the medical industry for 20 years to giving into his inner calling for classical art form, from holding a degree of doctorate in pharmacy to being a disciple of Kathak. His utmost grace resonates through his dance, that is Kathak. The disciple of late Shri Bireshwar Gautam ji. Let us give it up for the very talented Dr. Piyush Raj.
But first, let us watch a special compilation on Dr. Piyush Raj sir's story. And who better than Yogesh Pawar sir to take us through the realms of Dr. Piyush Raj sir's story? Inviting to the stage Dr. Piyush Raj and Mr. Yogesh Pawar.
Now that we've seen the AV and we all know who Dr. Piyush Raj is, I want to start straight off by asking you, you wear so many hats, you know, you've uh, had a background in pharmacology, you pursued your passion for dance, you've been an interior designer, you've also been in fashion designing for a while. And I mean, how can you wear so many hats? Do you ever get tired of wearing so many hats together?
Thanks, Yogesh. And I think it's all about, going with your heart. It's something which you want to do, and there is no stopping behind it. Yes, when I started, wanted to excel in education, wanted to excel in academics. So I pursued my doctorate. I did my PhD. But at the same time, I was also exposed, thanks to my parents and thanks to my mom, I was exposed to all the kind of arts. It could be, dancing, painting, sketching, music, everything. Both me and my sister both have been exposed to that. And, then it was left up to us. What do you want to do? You do it. It is our responsibility as a parent that we expose you to all the aspects of life, the finer aspects of life, besides being education, one of them. So that we pursued, both of us pursued education. I wanted to become excel in my academics. So yes, I took it up and went into the medical field. Sister she picked up acting, and she's an actress today. She's also into TV serials and she does a lot of acting also. I picked up dance. And it was very unheard of at that point of time, a male dancer. You know, how can a guy can be dancer? I mean, that's only for girls. Dancing is not for guys. So at that point of time, I was being ridiculed a lot of time, even at back then. But yes, I pursued. So dance was always there, continuously through all my careers. It could be academics, it could be my pharmacy, it could be my interior design, it could be even my fashion design, whatever. Dance was never stopped. So I kept on continuing whatever I was learning, and I was kept on doing it. So when I did my PhD, I have worked in the medical industry. Even when I finished my PhD, it's very strange that people came and asked, okay, now PhD की है तो अभी तो सिर्फ research में ही जाओगी, अभी तो आगे you'll pursue research. But that's when I changed. I took up medical marketing. After doing PhD, I went into marketing of the medical field. People told me you're too overqualified. We don't have any jobs for you because marketing, we don't require doctorates and PhDs and all. You are good enough for being in the research lab. Do in the research lab, you do your own research there. I said, well, now that is a challenge. I have to prove it to myself that just because I have a degree doesn't mean that I cannot do something else. So I proved. I started at the grassroots level and grew into that particular field. I started, I don't know, many people would know as in the pharmacy world or there's many people start as a medical representative, an MR who's selling drugs from every door to door. So I started as that. And when I quit my medical career, I was the director of South Asia and Southeast Asia of a US medical company. Okay, so it was something very, very enriching that I have worked towards achieving what I wanted to achieve. And believe me, it's something which every time I have been told that, no, this is not possible. This cannot be done. You don't need to do this. Why do you want to do? You were good enough to do the research. Why did you go into medical? Now, I was working in a pharma company. Within 5 years, I got bored of doing the same thing. I wanted to challenge myself, doing something different. So I went into a medical device company, which took me inside the operation theaters. I started teaching doctors how to operate, how to use our equipment, how to use the, for the benefit of the patient. So it was complete change from something which I was being taught by doctors. I started teaching doctors, and that to the topmost, doctors of the country. So it gave me a lot of exposure. From there, after 20 years, I felt, no, I'm stagnating. I need to do something different. I can't see myself doing this whole thing till end of my life. So I gave up. I was at the peak of my career. I gave up everything overnight, saying that, you know what, from tomorrow onwards, I don't want to do this. So my US company, my boss, they said, no, you're too precious for us. You're heading the entire Southeast Asia, South Asia. We will kind of give you a nice expat placement in Singapore. Why don't you shift to Singapore? We will take care of all the expenses, everything. I think I was around 40 at that point of time. Now, at that point of time, all my friends, all my colleagues said, oh, wow, just jump to this offer. Your life will change and you will live in Singapore like an expat. You will enjoy everything. Why do you have to, stay here? What are you going to do? And I dropped that offer. I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm sorry. I left the job. Everybody thought, okay, he'll join some other medical firm, he will continue the same thing. But I had got bored of doing the same thing. I needed something to challenge myself again at that point of time. That's the reason I kept on waiting. And another maverick friend of mine, he is also an architect and interior designer. He came and told me, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, I'm sitting at home doing nothing." He said, "Why don't you come and join me?" I said, "Join you and do what?" He said, "Learn interior design, learn furniture design." I joined him. I became a partner in the firm and started making furniture and interior design, the high-ended interior design and furniture. So I was teaching doctors how to use medical devices. And then after a few years, I was still sitting down on the floor with a carpenter and a plumber and trying to learn how to make a chair and how to make a table and how to do the polishing of a particular piece of furniture and how to bring in good aesthetics in that. So it was again a new learning cycle for me, something which I loved it. It was so organic that I really went back to the roots, saying that yes, it's something craft, it's handmade. There are so many artisans in India today that everything is made by hand. And today, when the West comes up and talks to us, we say, "Oh, this is handmade, so that is why expensive." It is not about handmade and expensive. It is about your own art, which you're going, giving it through your what you're making it. That led me also to something. I dabbled something in fashion designing. I did some 1 or 2 years, even interior design, and furniture design almost for 10 years. Again, I got bored. I said, no, now this is something which is again getting stagnating. I need to do something different. So I went back to my first love, and that is dance. So I gave up everything and I just established a studio academy for performing arts in Goregaon. He's been there a couple of times and he's a very, very strong supporter. He keeps on coming there very regularly. Natanam Studio for Performing Arts, where I gave up everything else. And again, all my friends, all my family, this is, "Are you out of your head? There is no fixed income. There is nothing you're going to get out of it. What are you going to get out of dance करके क्या मिलेगा तुम्हें? How will you make a living out of it?" I said, "I don't know. I'll figure it out. देखते हैं क्या होता है." So that is how I gave up everything and re-established. It's been what, I think 5, 6 years now that I have established this particular academy. But I think it's, if one decides to do and follow a passion and something which you keep on challenging every time, the moment you start getting comfortable in your own zone, that is the time I think you need to break free and do something different, so that you would get that impetus that, okay, I can do. And that, as Monata also said, that confidence is in you. That confidence that you can do something comes only from within. Otherwise, nobody is going to come and tell you that, okay, you could. Everybody will say, no, 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 don't do this. You're good, you're settled. अच्छा खासा चल रहा है, क्यों? Why are you rocking the boat? Everything is fine. Why do you want to do something? All these, stupid things like कौन अभी run? And I've faced this time and again. People questioning as to, why are you rocking the boat every time? Why are you not happy in whatever you're doing? It's not about I am not happy, but I want to be more happier. I want to achieve something much more. That's why.
From what you're telling us, reminds me of the movie Chocolat, in which, every few years, this mother and daughter, the mother's voice tells us the story, says, the north wind was blowing and it was time to move again, and then the story keeps moving. Yeah. So you seem to have the north wind visiting you once too often. I wanted to ask you, is this also, do you do you also recognize, is this about the privilege of doing this? Did you come from a wealthy enough background to do this and take those kind of risks? Would you have take these same choices? Would you make these same choices if you did not come from such a well-off background? Was it that? What was driving this? And what were some of the concerns that you had? Did you not doubt yourself? How did you reassure yourself when those doubts raised their head?
Well, many people think that I come from a very well-off background, but that's not the reality. Mom and dad, they at those times, they ran away from home and they got married. They had no house. They had no shelter. They stayed in a one-room kitchen in a chawl, and we came up from there. We have been staying, me and my sister have been brought up in that one-room kitchen. From there, a one-room flat, and slowly we have built up. So yes, it's not something that I had a lot of resources at my end where I could experiment with my life. No, it wasn't that. So it was a very self-made kind of journey. Even my parents also worked very hard. They also were entrepreneur. My mother has been always been an artist at heart. So she has been teaching, painting and cooking and drawing and, music. And in her times, that was her way of supporting the family. Dad was also into, actively pursuing his own business. So it was a very organically growing family. It was not something which we had a lot of support from some place. That's also one of the reasons that both of us, both me and my sister, are very grounded in knowing that where we come from and how we have come from. So we know that it is important to kind of acknowledge that where you are originating from and how you've grown particular in your life. So it was not very easy. Whenever I made such choices also of shifting careers or, getting into a different genre like dance or something, it wasn't very easy. There was always a question that, how am I going to support myself? But that was not the driving force. The driving force was the passion, the need to do something which would ultimately make me feel that, yes, I'm doing something which I like. And it's not a, it's not a chore that I have to do that every day. I have to get up and do something which I'm not interested, but I have to do it because that is what everybody does. No, yes, everybody does. But if there is a will to do something different, I'm sure all of you, as even Monatai has pointed out, that somewhere you need to establish your own individual identity as to what you want to do in life and how you want to pursue it.
I also wanted to ask you about, you have trained under some really illustrious gurus. You began training with Bireshwar Ji, and then you went on to learn with other gurus and then came back. We were talking about this a few days ago. So you want to tell us about how you moved from being in folk dance and lighter forms of dance and moved to the classical form. How did that happen? Can you speak a little about that journey?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, that dance was something which was very, very close to me. I found a lot of peace in expressing myself through dance. And it, of course, began with a very informal training of folk dancers and movement and body movements and all. But when I came across my late guru, Bireshwar Ji, when I saw him dance, when I saw him perform, that something stuck to me that, okay, this is the art form which I want to say. Also because today's topic, as I said, ordinary lives, extraordinary stories. Now, Kathak is nothing but a dance form which originated as a katha. Katha kahe so Kathak kehlave. So it is a storytelling dance form. So I wanted to tell stories through dance. I wanted to tell something and convey people that, okay, dance is not always about just jumping around and making some hand movements or something. And especially classical dance. Classical dance is something many people see differently. They say, nahi, nahi, ye to hamare kaam ka nahi. This is not something, only some people can do it. This is too, classist, and this is beyond us, and it requires too much of understanding, or it requires too much of time and patience. I don't have that. हमें तो गणपति डांस करना है और बॉलीवुड करना है. Today there is a whole new thing is Bollywood dance. But I feel dance is so elementary that बच्चा जब ही पैदा होता है तभी हाथ पैर हिलाता है पहले, before even he starts speaking. So it's so elementary to human being that it's the best form of expression. And with classical dance, what happens is it is a coordination of mind, body, and soul. Your soul comes into it. There is a kind of a connection of a different kind. So that is where I kind of gravitated. I kind of developed an interest that if I do something, it should mean something. I just don't want to do it just for the sake of it, because all my life I have not done just for the sake of it. Whatever I've done, if I like something, if I believe in that, I would do that. So same way, when I started learning Kathak, I went into, initially, of course, everybody goes to a different kind of a training. Then you understand that there is much more depth to it. There is so much of literature, because when you're learning dance, you're not only learning dance, you're learning music, you're learning literature, you're learning stagecraft, you're learning light craft, you're learning stage decor. There's so much you're learning just through one medium. So your mind gets expanded, your vision gets expanded so much that it really helps you to develop as a good person and a wholesome, a full person, I feel. That makes a huge difference.
क्योंकि आपने अभी इस रिस्पॉन्स में बॉलीवुड की बात की, तो हम थोड़ा बॉलीवुड पे अटक गए वहां पे. आई एम श्योर इस डेमोग्राफिक के साथ बॉलीवुड ये शब्द बहुत काम करता है. तो ये बताइए हमें कि आजकल मतलब देवदास या देवदास के पहले भी हमने ऐसे बहुत देखा है कि हम कोई फिल्म गाना देखते हैं, माधुरी दीक्षित है या दीपिका पादुकोण है, हम बोलते अरे क्या क्लासिकल ट्रेनिंग है. तो ये बात जो बॉलीवुड ने की है ना, कि बॉलीवुड में जो दिखाते हैं वो क्लासिकल कथक है, तो वो कथक और आप जो कथक करते हो, इसमें क्या अंतर है, एक बार बता दीजिए दर्शकों के लिए.
नहीं, Bollywood is, see, Kathak is a dance form. Okay, it's a classical dance form. So whatever you see आजकल जो मार डाला and मोहे रंग दो लाल and all that, that is a dance which is inspired by Kathak. That is not Kathak. Okay, it is just inspired by Kathak, which is good because you're creating an awareness. There has been a lot of original Kathak dances. I don't know if you all have heard names like Gopi Krishna ji. Gopi Krishna ji he started doing Bollywood films long back, before even anybody was there. Janak
Black and white era.
Yeah, Janak Payal Baje. That was the original film where it was fully into, and he has only done pure Kathak even in the films also. If you go and see it, it is only pure Kathak. He's not stylized it. He's not made it look very filmy. But today, what you see in Devdas, as you said, or Madhuri does, or Deepika does, yes, they're inspired by Kathak, but that is not Kathak. That is just one element of it. So it's good. I mean, today, as earlier also people were talking about, आजकल तो इंस्टा का रील्स का जमाना है ना. 30 सेकंड चाहिए, 30 सेकंड और 1 मिनट में कथक दिखाना है. अरे भाई, उन्होंने पूरी जिंदगी दे दी अपने कथक के उस पे. आप 1 मिनट में बोलोगे हम कथक डांसर्स बन गए तो कैसे चलेगा. बिरजू महाराज जी है, या तो फिर गोपी कृष्ण जी है, सितारा दीदी है, दमयंती जोशी, बड़े बड़े जो कलाकार जो थे, आज पूरी जिंदगी दे दी है कथक के लिए. तो उन्होंने जो रिसर्च किया है, उन्होंने जो काम किया है, आप अगर यंग जनरेशन बोल रहे कि भाई मुझे 1 मिनट के लिए, many people come to me and say मुझे क्रैश कोर्स चाहिए कथक का. ऐसे भाई मैं तो नहीं सिखा सकता, मुझे आता ही नहीं है क्रैश कोर्स कैसे सिखाना। हम तो अभी भी सीख रहे हैं, इस उम्र में भी हम सीख रहे हैं अभी। सो सीखना तो बंद नहीं होता ना।
तो आई वांटेड टू ये भी पता करना था आपसे कि आप जब आपने डांस करना शुरू किया, तो जैसे पहले एक सेशन में बात हो रही थी, तो गौरी ताई ने बोला तो किसी ने कहा ना कि कोई लड़का अगर इस तरह की कोई हरकत करता है तो लोग उसको चिढ़ाते हैं, उसके खुद के दोस्त उसका मजाक उड़ाते हैं। आपको कभी इस तरह का मजाक, इस तरह की इंसल्टिंग बातें सहनी पड़ी? डिड यू फेस एनी बुलिंग? एंड अब क्या जो लोग इस तरह की बातें करते थे, कभी उनसे फिर से आमना सामना हुआ है? आज आप इस ओहदे पे खड़े हो जहां उनको नीचे देख के आप कुछ बोल सकते हो, तो क्या क्या महसूस होता है? इसके बारे में बताइए।
नहीं नहीं, ये तो बहुत होता रहता है। दिस all of us have faced a lot, the body shaming or even profession shaming, that लड़का होके कैसे डांस करता है। ये तो लड़का होके अगर डांस करना है तो बॉलीवुड जैसे डांस करो, बट ये डोंट डू ऑल दिस फेमिनिन और इवन फॉर दैट मैटर क्लासिकल डांस कैसे आप लोग करते हो। ये तो ठीक नहीं है। दिस इज नॉट समथिंग, ये तो बहुत बाइला है। These are the words which we have heard. I've heard this, that no, this he must be gay because he is doing dance, classical dance. So ye to baila hai. He's not something to be taken seriously. Many people even have come and say, even right now, even as recent, very recently also, people have said, when I introduce myself, I'm a dancer. अच्छा, लेकिन काम क्या करते हो? What do you do as a profession? So people can't take that a male can also be, a guy can also have a profession as a dancer, and that too a classical dancer. Because the moment you say that I'm a Kathak artist, acha artist ho, acha theek hai, lekin what do you do? What is your profession? How do you काम क्या करते हो? ऐसे यही काम है मेरा। लेकिन ऐसे कैसे घर कैसे चलता है आपका? So these are the things that there is a stereotype that males को जाके बाहर जाके काम करके कमाना है, एंड ये सब जो आर्ट वार्ट है वो सब घर पे लड़की लोग को करना चाहिए, क्योंकि दे विल कीप देमसेल्फ बिजी, एंड लड़की लोग को सिखाओ। Even last time also when I was talking at a particular forum, they were all girls who came up to learn the dance form. Okay, there was a workshop where they were called all girls. Not a single guy came up to even say that I would want to learn also this dance form. Why? Why is it that people think that, आजकल तो नया, you must have seen this new movie also ना, रॉकी और रानी की प्रेम कहानी, उसमें है ना, डायलॉग भी है ना, हुनर का कोई जेंडर नहीं होता। तो why is it that there is a stereotype that नहीं, लड़के लोग कथक नहीं डांस करते और लड़के लोग क्लासिकल नहीं करते? You know what? We consider Nataraj as Lord of Dance. If he can dance, why can't we dance? Why can't guys dance? Each and every big gurus have been all male gurus. So what is stopping? Why have this society has this taboo that लड़के लोग ने नहीं करना चाहिए डांस, ये लड़की लोग का काम है? Where is the gender equality then? जब भी बाकी काम आते हैं तो तभी तो सब लोग बोलते हैं नहीं इक्वल होना चाहिए, देयर हैज टू बी इक्वालिटी, हम भी बर्तन उन लोग को भी धोने चाहिए, ये कपड़े भी धोने चाहिए, और बच्चे लोग का ध्यान भी रखना चाहिए। तो ये क्यों नहीं, यहाँ क्यों नहीं? Why not here? Why is it the divide in art? So I think that is something which the society has to change. You guys, you are young people have to bring in that change. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. There is no shame in dancing classical or any form of art for that matter. I have seen people even in abroad also. I've seen ballet dancers. Now, nahi, that girls only do ballet. The guys should not be doing ballet. वैसे कैसे ballet कर? Ballet is all feminine. Arey, but where is the question about being feminine? And it depends on you, how you carry yourself. When I am doing a performance, when on stage, I am supposed to portray Radha. I am supposed to portray Radha. Okay, when I'm supposed to portray Krishna or Shiva, my body language should speak that I am portraying Krishna and Radha. It is not about how I behave. Otherwise, nobody can, I don't have to get my, my body language into my regular life. Many people say that, nahi, agar tum sikhoge, to fir you will become feminine even in your regular life. You will start becoming very effeminate. But I think that's all here.
There was Kamala Hassan when he came into the film industry, and he went rigorous training in Bharatanatyam. That's how he met his first wife.
Yeah.
So, and he fell in love with Vani Ganpati. But I'm just saying that when he was learning dance, that's exactly what some of his male colleagues in the film industry told him, that you will soon start having this fancy way of walking and with a limp wrist and stuff like that. So you will have to do something about it. And he's saying, I then became a gym addict. And I started gymming so much because I would say, I'll do morning, I'll go for dance, and evening I'll go and gym. So it'll kind of balance out. And that's how he, you remember how Kamal Haasan looked when he was younger, Sagar Sangamam and all those movies. So, I mean, this has happened. You mentioned society and actually the ball in that court. Since it is in that court, I think we'll throw it open and ask the audience if it has any questions. So if they can ask any questions that they have to ask of Dr. Piyush Raj. Yeah, please, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'll touch the second point first. See, whatever you have done doesn't go waste. Definitely not. I mean, when I have done my doctorate, I have worked into the corporate field for almost 20 years. I've worked into the interior design field for almost 10, 12, 15 years. Nothing has gone to waste. I have extrapolated whatever I've learned from those fields into my performing art career. Okay. Today, being a dancer, it's like an entrepreneur. You're on your own. You need to manage your own self. Being an artist, you need to manage your own self. I have opened up a academy, a studio. So it's a full-time involvement where I'm using my corporate skills, my ability to manage things. I was managing at a very different level. So managing things, talking to people at that level, and at the same time, when I used to talk to carpenters and unskilled laborers also. So how to talk to them, how to come across or get your point across to a person. All those skills are very important. I mean, it's not something that has gone waste, and I have no regrets at all. I have lived a complete life. I have got a very enriching life till now. Be it be my corporate jobs, or it could be even my academics, because even in research, I did my PhD. Now that particular style of research is now helping me today to do research in my performing arts sector. Today, I am pursuing advanced research in Kathak. People can't imagine that the Kathak mein kya research karoge? But there is so much to research on the topic of Kathak, that it is helping me, because we are from the age where we didn't have internet, we didn't have phones, we didn't have any access. We had to travel to libraries, open up those dusty books and journals and sit and make our own notes. So that kind of research when we have done, not at a click of a button today. So that kind of research is helping us to broaden our horizon so much that today I can apply the same research in my own performing arts also. So nothing has gone to waste. So in fact, it has only helped you to enrich it. Today, even when I do my experience in interior design and furniture design helps me when I design my sets, when I do my lighting, when I do my setting on the stage also, that stage decor and that whole knowledge about where the light should come, what is the temperature of the light, what the stage will look good from this particular angle, what will look good. All that is also I'm implementing here. So many people, in fact, tell me when I have even designed my own sets and all, why did you leave interior design? अरे इतना तू अच्छा कर रहा था, अच्छा खासा कमा रहा था, क्यों छोड़ दिया, ये सब आ गया डांस में? I said, but मेरे को कमाना, it was not something what my objective was. It was a very different thing. Yes, money is important. I'm not saying no. But at the same time, that is not the whole sole objective. So nothing will go to waste. Whatever you learn in your life, whatever you have achieved, nothing will go to waste. You need to know how to apply that knowledge to your new field, wherever you are. Because if you don't apply, it's an applied knowledge. If you don't apply to that, then you might think, अरे मैंने तो 20 साल वेस्ट कर दिया. अरे but उसमें से जो सीखा है उसका तत्व ले लो ना. Take the elements of it and apply it to where you are today. So that will enrich your today. And talking about what is dance to me, I think dance, as I told you, is something which is very, you know, it's kind of a soul stirring. It's very spiritual to me. It's not something which is very superficial, because whenever I even teach my students also, I said, learn okay, we teach you literal things, but learn the essence and learn the inner meaning of it. Learn I should say the tattva of it, the core of it. Only then you will understand what dance is. Dance is life. I mean, each and every one of you can dance. I can tell you this much. Don't say that I have two left feet. No, I don't believe that. Okay. Everybody can dance. Each and everything has a rhythm. Your heart also has a rhythm. If it goes out of rhythm, you would not be sitting here. So everything has lay and tal. Everything has rhythm. Everything dances. Your nature dances. Your water dances. The ocean is dancing. Your breeze, the trees are dancing. Everything dances today. So everything it all depends on how you see it, how you perceive it. So it's something which you can find dance and movement in each and every aspect of today. The way you walk is also dance. If being actors, I'm sure you have to walk in a certain way to portray something. That's also dance, nothing else. I mean, you're walking in a particular rhythm to portray something. You're talking in some particular rhythm to say, make your point. Your voice modulations is also nothing but your dance of your vocal cords. So everything there is a lay, there is a rhythm. So I think it's all about how you perceive movement, how you perceive dance. Many a times I even keep on telling when I dance, I said we are the best artists because we are using our fingers and our limbs as the art brushes, and we are creating paintings in space. Where do we get? I mean, today movements is nothing but painting in a space. You're creating a beautiful painting in a space, and that is what you see. Sure. So I think it's very, very personal as to, there is nothing wrong with, Bollywood dance or folk dance or this dance and that. Everything is movement. Whatever touches your heart is dance for you, I feel.
Anybody else has questions? Yes, there are a couple of hands there. Why don't you come up ahead and just look at the
I
audience and
think,
ask?
yeah,
Yeah, after that, the next person also can come and stand there so that, yeah.
I think sab so gaye lagte hai.
No, I'm going to make him wake you all up, because after this, we're going to make him show us a little small this thing, Hakat, just show us something. Oh, wow.
Oh my God, all the time, not after. First of all, before every performance also, I have this huge anxiety and butterflies in my stomach at this point also. Whatever, even if I've rehearsed 10 times also, yet I have that anxiety that no, something is not right. And after the performance, I would never want to see my own videos because I know that I will bring it up and say that, "Ye kya kiya hai? You could have been much better. I mean, you could have done something much better." But definitely you need to have that kind of an approach that there's always something better. There's nothing that, okay, you have done it all.
Yes, the next person.
How do you switch those so quickly? See, the best part about, you know, I'll just trace a little bit, behind. In drama, correct me, when it's a mono act play, it's a different thing. But otherwise, in drama, every person has a character to play. So it's a multi-character. But in a classical dance, one person is playing all the characters. Okay. So with just a twirl of a body, you're portraying from Krishna to Radha to, even for that example, if I have to, even when I teach my students, for example, if I have to show the story of Draupadi Vastraharan. Now, Draupadi Vastraharan has so many characters, right from your Pandavas to your Kauryas to Shakuni to Krishna to Draupadi to everybody, Dushyashan, Duryodhan. I am the only one person showing all the characters. Okay, so I have to make that change. That training has to come. And that is where we call as even Monatai will know, Angik Abhinay and the Abhinay, what you're coming out with, is depending on your body language, how are you going to shift? So it is difficult because, yeah, you need to show the character differently. Whereas in a split second, you're showing a different character. Whereas in a drama or in a thing, that character stays. The person who's portraying Duryodhan will be portraying as Duryodhan. He will be dressed as Duryodhan. Somebody will be dressed as Krishna. Somebody will dressed as Draupadi.
Piyush, with your permission, I'll just, because they are media students, I'll explain this like the media. In television journalism, when we're teaching students, we say, first you tell them that you're going to tell them the story, then you tell them the story, then you tell them that you told them the story. So basically, he's the narrator, he's the characters, then he's the sutradhar. And he also has to remember that he's Dr. Piyush Raj, who is performing there, because the Shanmuganand stage is such a big stage. When it jumps like a warrior and goes around, he has to take a big circle. But if he takes such a big round here, he's going to fall off the stage. So he has to remember that also. So he has to look at himself from outside and see how Piyush is going around. So Natnam studio is a small studio. This is bigger. Shanmuganand Hall is very big. So he has to remember that also. So those things. But we will, I think, halt the questions there because otherwise we'll miss this little thing. Can you show us a little glimpse of something which we will end the session on, so
Sure.
that it will be a great note to end the session on.
Okay, let me see now.
I'll leave the stage to Dr. Piyush Raj. Yeah, you have music. If you want music, you can give it all. Otherwise, yeah, you can just explain what you're doing so that
They asked me as to how can you show Radha and Krishna very differently. So what in Kathak, who's that girl who learned? Okay, you have learned Gatnikas and Gat Bhavs and all? Not yet. Okay. So we have a kind of a element called as Gatnikas, where you're using your body. Gat is nothing but walk, a, a beautiful stylized walk. Okay. So that is what, and you're using your body and your mudras to show depict the character, what you're going to try to show. So I could be walking like a Krishna, I could walk like Radha, or I could just walk very stylizedly, not even having any portraying any character. Okay. At the same time, there is called as Gat Bhav, where we show a lot of kind of episodes or stories, where I want to show the stories about, like I said, say Draupadi Vastraharan, or I could show, say, any mythological stories, or it could be Sita Haran, it could be Ahilya Uddhar, it could be, Shabri Prasang. Any of these stories I have to tell, but I am the only one person. I'm the only person. I have to show Ram, I have to show Shabri, I have to show everything. So that is the something kind of, I'll just show you a very small gat, which is nothing but just a stylized walk. I just want y'all to just give you a beat, which is nothing but just claps. Okay. Da da din da da tin tin ta kadid da da din da din da tin tin ta kadid da din da din da tin ta din da tin da din da tin tin ta kadid da din da din da tin tin ta.
Da din din da din din da tin tin ta din din da din din da din din da tin tin ta din din da din din da tin tin ta din din da din din da tin tin ta din din da din din da tin tin ta din 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 da din din da tin tin ta din din da din din da tin tin ta din din da din din da tin tin ta din din da din din da din din tin tin ta din din da din din da din din tin tin ta din din da din 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 da tin tin ta din din da din 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 da tin tin ta din din da din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din 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 tin tin ta din din
Thank you. So that was just a small glimpse where you can change characters very differently, either from Krishna to Radha. I've just shown two. There could be Draupadi, there could be, Duryodhan, the way you're standing, the way your body language is very different. So I think it's just a lot of storytelling, especially in Kathak, because as I told you, Kathak means Katha kahe so Kathak kehla. That itself is my story. Thank you.
That was such a beautiful segment. Can we give him another round of applause? Because I am sure each spectator here was mesmerized to their core. Just so beautiful. Okay. अगली कहानी किसकी है?
So now there's something very interesting, okay? So, सो रहे हैं क्या लोग? आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी? Are you there? Okay. So अभी मैं एक डायलॉग सुनाने वाली हूँ और आप सबको पहचानना है कि ये डायलॉग किसका है. Okay? Excited? What? No. Okay, okay. So it is, जो पेलते हैं ना वो बोलते नहीं और जो बोलते हैं ना वो पेलते नहीं. Any guesses?
Ritika, can I guess?
Okay.
Is it Purushottam from City of Dreams?
Correct. He's an actor who has worked in both Marathi and Hindi films. His famous works include the role of Maadhyam in Dombivli Fast, Purushottam in City of Dreams. He has won the Maharashtra Best Actor Award for the film Shwas, which was also the first film to enter the Oscars. Let us give it up for the very dynamic Mr. Sandeep Kulkarni.
Sir, we have our students prepared something for you, a video compilation. So let us take a look at it.
इमानदारीची चाळ कसं द्या ₹2 परत. प्रत्येक मराठी माणसाच्या घराबाहेर पाठी लागलेली असते. माणसाने नेहमी समाधानी असावे. अंगण वावर पुरेना मग नोकरी धंदे सुरू झाले. नोकरीत पगार पुरेना, धंद्यात नफा पुरेना. आयुष्यात सगळ्यात मोठी चिंता कुठली असते? लोक काय म्हणतील?
Today, we also have among us Mr. Mahendra Desai, sir, who is an adjunct faculty at VSIT. And we all know that from time to time, sir has been motivating us through our very own film club, that is V Chitra. He is also our mentor, and we are honored to have him among us today. So another fact that Ritika has is,
you must be knowing, and I guess VSIT students know this, but our guest from other colleges, he is the maker of the films Dombivli Returns and Prem Sutra, both starring our today's guest, Mr. Sandeep Kulkarni sir. तो अभी साथ में काम किया है तो exciting किससे रहेंगे? And sir, we've been waiting for so long for this moment. On that note, the stage is all yours.
can we give them a big hand?
हाय, गुड आफ्टरनून. जेवण झाली आहेत सगळ्यांची? झोपा झाल्या? सुरू करूया. Sandeep Kulkarni has been introduced nicely. But he has many more things than just an introduction. शुरुआत से ही करते हैं. You may or you may not be knowing that he is a fine art student. He is a student from JJ. Okay. So Sandeep, at that time, we used to dream to be in JJ because JJ में जे होता है वो बाहर नहीं होता. और you had selected to go there, you were admitted there. Who were your JJ days?
Well, I came from a very middle class family, and dreaming of going to JJ, which is a very expensive course, was a little difficult. But I was very passionate at drawing and painting since my school days. And somehow I pursued my passion. And I said, करना है तो यही करना है, वरना मुझे कुछ नहीं करना है. मतलब at that point of time, I wanted to be a painter and wanted to be an artist. Therefore, I joined and I passed on the entrance exam. I got through. And it was very difficult to sustain because it was very expensive, you know, getting those paper, paints and yevo and the whatever those. But the whole thing was, I had a professor there called Prabhakar Kolte, and I was very lucky to have him because he's the one who exposed me, or he actually enlightened me to become an artist. See, an institution or any college doesn't make you that person. It is how you develop the insights, how you develop the experiences is how you are made of. Because syllabus to wahi hota hai, right? But then how some students are different, how some students have different insights, because they are open to take those experiences. They are open to, you know, kind of go through different or to take insights. So that is what my professor kind of gave me. And that is where I actually discovered what an artist is. You know, artist is very simple, like what Dr. Piyush says. Anybody can be a dancer, or anybody can be an actor, or anybody can be a painter. It is just the awareness. So whatever you want to be starts with awareness and open mind. So artist is what? Just being aware of your senses. And we are not. Many a times we are just not aware of our senses. We don't know. I mean, you know, chefs, they're very sensitive to their tastes. Musicians, they're very sensitive to their ears. Painters or artists are very sensitive how they see and how they, you know, their whole inception is through their eyes. And so basically, artists is basically being aware of your senses. So if you just start being aware of now, you see world differently. So that is what he gave me. After that, the life was completely different, because then I started, I mean, we were introduced to music, we were introduced to readings, we were introduced to, you know, a lot of different insights. And that was the foundation from me. From there also, from there only I started, we were introduced to world cinema. And when I saw world cinema, I was zapped, because that gave me the insight that cinema is the culmination of all arts. And that is a power, that's a medium where I don't have to go to, you know, US or Europe, but I get to see the life, I get to see the politics, I get to see the society, I get to see the human behaviors there. So that is the strength of cinema. That is what was introduced to me. And that I got pulled towards cinema. And then I started doing theater. And when I was doing theater, I thought that this is a different collaborative art. Because being a painter and musician or a writer, one has to be alone. I mean, it's his creative process. But when you do theater or when you do a film, it's a very collaborative art. Right?
Just a moment.
Yeah.
You started your theater when you were in JJ or what? How, what,
So-
वो वहाँ माहौल कैसा था?
Yeah, yeah.
थिएटर के लिए और फिल्मों
Yeah.
के लिए?
So JJ से मतलब शुरुआत हुई from inter college of competitions and all. But seriously, theater was introduced to me by Pandit Satyadev Dubey. In fact, my a very close friend, a writer called Chetan Datar, who took me to Dubeji, and Dubeji was the person who was an institute himself. So I was so lucky to get two good mentors. One was Prabhakar Kolte, and second was Pandit Satyadev Dubey. And I mean, he not being there now is a big loss, because he has really created generations of artists in theater, right? So I was lucky to be a part of his student, and for 3-4 years I was rigorously doing theater with him. And of course, Sunil Shanbag, again his senior student. And so I was introduced to different writers, different kind of form of theaters through him. And then being an artist, he only, kind of, because I was very confused when I was doing theater, because painter and writer are very similar, have similar kind of creative process, because वो अकेला होता है, वो अपना अपना सोचता रहता है, उसके दिमाग में सोचता रहता है, और वो अपना क्रिएटिव लिखता रहता है. या आर्टिस्ट ऑल्सो, ही हैज हिज ओन स्पेस, उसका अपना एक कमरे में अब कभी भी बंद कर दो, वो अपना पेंटिंग करेगा. लेकिन एक्टर has a different process. It is a process where you have conceived many things and now you have to come out with that. So it's a reverse process, right? So you have to come out with your expressions, your whatever. So you should be. So earlier, because I was trained for 5 years as a painter, it was very difficult. I was not aware that I was not able to do that, because I was trained for 5 years as a painter. And a good mentor or a good teacher, trainer like Satyadev Dubey, who could observe it, and he told me, Sandeep, this is what is happening. And that was a breakthrough. That was a breakthrough where, I could now understand both the process. Therefore, I could understand painters, I could understand writers, and I could be an actor also. Also, yeah.
Sandeep, you said कि you have to be aware. Awareness आना बहुत जरूरी है. So while doing that, is that a trial and error process, or how can you get that awareness? Do you keep on thinking कि अरे ये देखते हैं, ये करके देखते हैं, वो करके देखते हैं, क्या होता है? वो process क्या है?
So one is, yes, you keep on watching different forms of content and reading and all that. But the biggest part is nothing like experience in life. That cannot be taught. That is to be experienced, or that is to be kind of be in it. मतलब ऐसा है कि अलग-अलग लेखक क्यों हैं, अलग-अलग, मतलब क्या कहते हैं कि सुर एक ही है लेकिन अलग-अलग, मतलब सुनाई क्यों अलग देते हैं. या एक प्ले होता है, उसको अलग एक्टर्स आके उसी प्ले को करते हैं, कंटेंट सेम है, स्क्रिप्ट सेम है, लेकिन अलग एक्टर्स जब करते हैं तो अलग क्यों दिखता है, अलग क्यों सुनाई देता है? Because that person comes with his experience in life. So that experience makes it live, it makes it interesting, it makes it relatable. तो हम कहते हैं ना कि ये बहुत मतलब लाइव हो गया, जिंदा हो गया, ऐसा लगता है बहुत लाइवली है. तो that's because the actor or the performer adds his experience, क्योंकि वो lines जिंदा हो जाती है, it becomes live.
It is a form of expression, whichever it is. It may be painting ho, yeah, because that is the reason why I think JJ has given many good proficient actors also, like Nana Patekar, you, good poets like Nalesh Patil, or directors like Purushottam Bede, all those things. So what was the hitting point? Which कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है कि एक प्ले आप देख रहे हो, आपको ऐसा लगता है कि I could write it more nicely or I could act it more better way. ऐसे कभी हुआ? That was the starting point of view कि ये play and I should have been on the stage rather than there. In the beginning, in the beginning.
Generally, it was because I even to kind of see, as I said, 5 साल मैं बहुत painter था. उसके बाद I started acting and I started. So it was more of an exploration of understanding different writers, especially Vijay Tendulkar. Lucky again to be a part of many of his writings, many of his plays. He is one of the country's best writer and one of the best international writers till now. Because at that point of time when there was no internet, there was no digital,
Google like
acquiring
this.
anything, Google or anything. The way he has acquired experiences by traveling, by reading and watching, and the way he has come out with his writings through that, it is unbelievable. And luckily, I mean, we were mutual admirers because I had done his plays and he had kind of seen that. And later on, when I did films like Shwas and Don't Believe Fast, he actually went in theaters, saw those films, he called me, and whatever he liked or not, he used to. So it was a brilliant kind of a, rapport. And which, I mean, with many writers after that. And I would like to associate, I would like to understand the writing of any writer, even when a film script comes or a play comes. It's, so get deep into it and understand the rhythm and the what the writers would like to say in different levels, because then it becomes a process where you come out with whatever you have understood, right?
So you mean to say you kept on watching many things, you kept on reading many things, and that make you prepare for something to express yourself.
Correct.
Right? You were
Correct.
You were assimilating something more from here and there, and then you thought कि अभी कुछ express किया जाए, and you started and you kept on assimilating also and then expressing also.
Yes.
Yourself.
Yes.
Um,
So as I said, that's why I asked this question to Dr. Piyush also. See, whatever you do in life, those are your experiences. That doesn't go waste. आप अभी कुछ कर रहे हो, आपको पता नहीं है क्या करना है, but by finally आपको लगता है कि नहीं ये मेरा, because to find your passion. So another word, passion. Without passion, आप sustain नहीं कर पाओगे. आप साइंटिस्ट हो, आप मैथमेटिशियन हो या आर्टिस्ट हो, जो भी इनोवेशंस हुए हैं पैशन के वजह से हुए हैं. जो भी राइटिंग हुआ है, जो भी बड़े एक्टर्स हुए हैं पैशन की वजह से हुए हैं. So one is passion. Unless you have passion, आप सस्टेन नहीं कर पाओगे. अप्स एंड डाउन्स होते ही रहते हैं लाइफ में. Only passion sustains you. And second thing is, whatever experiences you have in life, that will only enrich you. आप पढ़ो, आप देखो, आप वो करो, those are all borrowed things. But आपका जो experience होगा, वो आपको अंदर से आवाज देगा कि आपको क्या करना है लाइफ में. आपको किस तरह का लिखना है, आपको किस तरह की फिल्म बनानी है, आपको किस तरह का रिपोर्टिंग करना है, आपको किस तरह का आर्टिस्ट बनना है, आपको क्या बनना है, right?
Sandeep, you said you had a mentor like Dubeji, okay? And as I heard about him, he's a taskmaster. वो ऐसे कुछ यानी पहले 10-15 साल तो बहुत लोगों को पता ही नहीं चलता कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं वहां पे. So how was your experience with Dubeji? Because here also many of them want to be an actor, but while
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So this man called Satyadev Dubey, as I said, was an institution himself, but he has always acquired that over the years. But he was a house of passion, theater ka passion. He has written films also with Sham Benegal, with few good directors and whatever. But that was to, sustain in life, just to earn some money, and he liked it, but his passion was theater. He was the person who actually kind of trained Amrish Puri completely. Amrish Puri was a sales tax officer, a government man who was doing he was doing a government job, and he was doing theater with Satyadev Dubey. Satyadev Dubey was the person who made him discover that he had that kind of voice, he had that kind of person, whatever. And actually, he was a non-actor completely. But he was an example, or he gave an example that how anybody can be an actor if he surrenders to the coach, to the right person, and who is prepared to do all the hard work and do riyaz. Because riyaz, continuous riyaz, we still do it now. I mean, every good singer, every good dancer, everybody does riyaz. So Dubey ji, like Amol Palekar also was his kind of student, and he was mentored by Dubey ji. Nasiruddin Shah, when he came to Mumbai after doing his theater, FTI and all that, here in Mumbai, Nasir worked with Dubey ji, kind of to get the more mentorship. Sonali Kulkarni, the actor, if you've seen, she was completely a Dubey student. There are many, many students who have, been Dubey ji's actors. Even now, a generation of, a whole young generation of Manav Kaul, Kumud Mishra, Ashutosh Rana, all these are students by Satyadev, because he used to also go and teach in NSD, National School of Drama. So he used to, he loved teaching students. So his workshops, by the way, his workshops were not just for training actors. It was basically, because now I can see that, because that point of time, we were all wanted to be an actor. We were difficult to understand that person because he was a taskmaster. He used to crash your ego, first of all, because you cannot grow if you have ego. You cannot learn if you have ego. So he used to crash your ego first with his whatever abuses and whatever he used to do. So once you become empty, then you are ready to fill up with new things, right? So that is what he used to do. And there are, we all, there are some 200 students or 300 students, we are still there doing work, writing and acting and all. We are all, so that person is still alive with the students. That is what good trainers are.
Do
Right?
you remember any anecdotes about him? Acting ऐसी नहीं होती बेटा, बच्चा ऐसे कुछ. Do you remember any such anecdotes about him?
Yeah, so basically he never used to teach acting, because he always, even I believe, or whatever he has given, you cannot teach acting, you can only make you experience acting, and that happens with levels, right? So first is, he used to make our basics right. We are all good actors or consistently good because our basics are very strong. जैसे कोई अच्छा गाने वाला होता है, भीमसेन जोशी और कोई भी अच्छे गाने वाले, उनके बेस इतने, वो कभी बेसुरे नहीं होंगे. वो कभी भी, मतलब आप तान भी लो तो वो कभी बेसुरे नहीं गाएंगे. तो क्यों होता है? क्योंकि आपके बेसिक्स बहुत स्ट्रांग होते हैं. तो बेसिक बहुत स्ट्रांग होने चाहिए. ऑफ कोर्स दैट्स अ डिफरेंट वे, व्हाट आर द बेसिक्स एंड ऑल दैट, बट वो अगर अच्छे हो, वो अगर स्ट्रांग हो, तो दैट इज व्हाट ही यूज्ड टू डू. एंड देन ही यूज्ड टू इंट्रोड्यूस, ही नेवर यूज्ड टू talk about acting. He always used to make you understand and believe in different phases and different points while doing things. So, yeah, even so, when we are doing, so I first started with a play called Andha Yug, which is a classic play in Hindi.
Dharmavir Bharti.
Yeah, Dharmavir Bhartis. And we had a great time because Nasiruddin Shah was doing Ashwathama, the main role. There was Amrish Puri, there was Mohan Bhandari, there was Akash Khurana. So we as newcomers used to actually, and he made us remember all the lines, those lines. I couldn't even understand those lines. They were very, kind of poetic lines in that play. But he made us learn that lines. He said, "आप याद करो," और वो बीच-बीच में पूछते रहते थे. ऐसा भी नहीं था कि आप छोड़ दिए. तो उससे क्या हुआ था कि slowly in the show, first of all, watching Nasiruddin Shah rehearsing, watching Amrish Puri rehearsing, and all that was a kind of a big feast. And we used to do all the small backstage work, tying their shoes, tying the this and that, and so everybody went. But in all that process, we learned a lot, right? So उनका अभी भी मुझे वो सुनाई देता है वो play. I can still hear them, right? So this is what experiences I'm talking about. So please be under experiences. Don't just be under किसी ने बोल दिया और वो मैं कर जाऊंगा. नहीं. You have to be ready to take experiences in life. Search. So see, I wouldn't say that I was very lucky, that I was lucky to be with Dubey, but I searched for a mentor. There were many, but it was him that I selected. So you have to be quite aware to whom to, take a mentor. I mean, what is the mentor giving to you and what is the basics or what are the things that you're getting? Be aware of that, because finally time hota hai, time bound hota hai, right? You have to also kind of value your time, and you are young, but be open-minded, listen, music, padho, please, because digital se padhna kam ho gaya hai, kitabe padhna kam ho gaya hai, make it as an habit again, because that's something which, because kitab ye hai jiska ek feel hota hai, because we had been with books, right? So try and वो भी रखो, digital भी रखो, लेकिन किताब भी रखो. किताब का एक अपना feel होता है, उसका एक experience. And as I said, people who have written good, whatever, I mean, whether it is plays, whether it is novels, whether it is their experiences. So वो एक होता है ना कि valuable experiences आपके पास हैं, printed है या digital पे है, तो उसको भी आप वो करो, because that becomes your treasure in life. So that's very treasurable, right?
There are two skills to be an actor. One is an acting, which you acquire by giving this, by practicing or through your mentor and all. And second is to grab a role. And secondly, to approach to that character. So how you approach to any character which you get? Sometimes you get आपको ये मिलता है कि बाबा सिलेक्ट करो कोई भी कैरेक्टर इनमें से, तो हाउ यू सिलेक्ट अ कैरेक्टर, या यू गेट हाउ यू सिलेक्ट अ स्क्रिप्ट और अ कैरेक्टर, and how you approach to that character as an actor?
So one is, I was always offered with him. मतलब दुबे जी तो बोलते थे वही करना पड़ता था. मतलब उसमें कोई, yeah, even
you had been doing backstage also for
yes, of course.
how important it is to have to be in a backstage team?
So that is because
these all people, they always want to be on the stage rather than in the backstage.
So one is, as I said, though again that is one of the valuable experiences, because unless you understand the backstage, you will never be good on the front stage, because that it's a collaborative art. Yeah, right? Because you have co-actors, you have the people who are there sitting with the cues to either give you or help you, right? So unless you experience that, you will never value that. And also because when you are there in the initial days, you are also listening. You are also been listening to the actors who are performing, who are I mean senior or who are experienced actors. So that helps you, how they approach, how they work, how the readings happen, and how the play is built up, how the play comes from script to, same with a film. I mean, you don't have to be kind of a spot boy or be there, but if you can assist, if you can experience, right? So when you become an actor when you're in front of camera, you understand that there's a collaborative art. So there are a lot of uncomfortable things happening. Either light hai, either kuch ye hai, either camera hai, and still you have to emote. Still you have to get that same rhythm. So assisting or being on that back stage helps you in that.
Achha, how you approach a character?
So as I said,
as an actor,
So one is, as I said, for me, script is very important because script is the base of the whole creative process. So when the script comes, or obviously, because whatever I have been doing in stage and whatever I did, so the roles came to me, good roles came to me. Initially, I started with small roles. Like my first film was with Shyam Benegal called Mamo. It was a short role and very but important role. Now I want to tell a very good experience. See how good mentors or how good directors help you, make you grow. So I had already proved as an actor. So because I was doing Hindi plays, and Shyam Benegal, Govind Nehlani, they used to come and watch the plays. They've seen me working. So Shyam Benegal called me for a role, and it was my first film. Now I've never done a film earlier. It was with Farida Jalal. My scenes were with Farida Jalal, who is a very senior actor. Now, we had done all the rehearsals earlier because I had prepared myself. So when I rehearsed, my dialogues were there. We were almost there. But earlier, the camera had a sound, a very kind of this sound which really used to make a sound when the camera starts.
It used to irritate rather.
It's
The-
irritated because there's a sound. Now, because the digital camera, it doesn't even make any sound. But earlier, that the camera is to make a sound. So and it was OS, so it was, the camera was on me through Farida's shoulders, and I was so when he said action, the camera went on and the sound was there, and I used to go blank. And this happened thrice. And at that point of time, these retakes were very expensive because it was film. And I became very uncomfortable. Everybody was, Are Bapri. Shyam Benegal could understand what I was. So he just told the cameraman, give me 2 minutes. He took me aside and he said, Sandeep, I have seen you on stage. You are a brilliant actor. But I know that this is your first film. The moment you start believing that the camera doesn't exist, you will be a film actor.
That's
You know,
great.
This is a sentence from experience. That one sentence made my life as a film actor. So from there, I also got this insight that you have to believe. So acting, any sort of art is make believe. Unless you believe, audience is not going to believe. A play happens when a writer believes in something, he writes it, actors believe in that writing. Same with the film. So unless you start believing, it happens in life also. If you don't believe in your work, you will never make it. Who is going to make? Unless you believe, your clients will not believe you. Right? So belief factor is very important. It has to come from inside. Yeah.
As you said about camera in films, the same is the fourth wall concept of theater. You have to imagine there is a wall. There is audience is not there. Audience is the fourth wall. So as an actor, you said theater, the whole body is your asset. You cannot, जैसे फिल्मों में close होता है, mid होता है, you enact in that way, right? In theater, on stage, the total angik abhinay you have to show. So this is quite a double difference. What do you think is the nuances in theater and film as an actor?
So these are different mediums. So one has to understand different mediums. So it goes with writers, it goes with directors, and it goes with the actors also. That television is a different medium, film is a different medium, stage is a different medium, and now the web series again is a different medium. So one has to understand those mediums. So in theater, I have to be aware that there is this audience sitting there, and there is some audience sitting at the back of the theater also, and I have to communicate, or I have to be connect with them also. But that doesn't mean that I have to shout. So there are skills where we always say that there is a skill called pitch and volume, right? So pitching is very important because pitching makes it real. If you increase your, if you raise your pitch, it becomes false. But if you keep my pitch intact and raise my volume, it goes there, right? So that is theater. And film is basically because the camera is there and it's like the audience is close or the viewer is close. I have to be very normal. In fact, I have to be very, very kind of the way I am, right? Or if the character demands whatever, I have to act accordingly, right? So these are mediums. So one has to understand these mediums as an actor, writer, or a director.
What do you think is more challenging as an theater artist, theater actor, or a film actor? Challenging, more challenging.
I see both are challenging because, again, as I said, one has to understand the techniques and all. Because many a times what happens, you are good at, many actors are very good at on stage, but they don't seem very good on film because they have not understood the medium, right? Because you have to understand the close, mid shots, long shots, technically where to and what are the. So understanding the medium is very important. Theater is, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's more kind of, one has to, it's like you are completely naked or you are completely open to the audience.
Because it is live. Because
Yeah.
it is live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in film, one can edit and one can,
Have a
save
retake,
an actor.
Retake also.
Retake, you can do a retake, but once you are live on stage, it's you and the audience. So obviously theater is, but then theater training is very important for actors because that gives you riyaz, that gives you, knowing the whole script, being sustainable in front of audiences, remembering lines, right? So that gives you a very long longevity to your career if you have a theater background.
Sandeep, I have seen you performing in Shwas, Domboli Fast, my film Domboli Return. They had certain heroic or something active part in it. But your character in City of Dreams, Purushottam, had a very passive-like thing, which I thought it is doing nothing. He is a money man. He is managing the money of that. And I have seen most of the actors doing passive acting, a passive character in most effective way. And that was your performance in, I think particularly, that was your best performance being a passive character, portraying a passive character. How do you approach to that character? Again, that thing.
So one is obviously when you have a good script and a very good director, it helps you. Like when it came to me, Nagesh. So when Nagesh was writing the script, he had me in his mind because he had seen Dombili Fast and then he had called and said, Sandeep, we should work together. I love you as an actor and whatever. But it never happened over the years. But when he was writing this, somehow I was in his mind. And he had already started shooting because I was shooting some other film. And when I came, he just briefed me. He said, see, he'd given me the scripts and I had read it. He said, all other characters around are politician, related to politics, related to, manipulations and all that, whatever in their life, whether they are doing it purposely or not, but they are more. This is the only character who is innocent. Though he is there in them, but he's a very innocent man in a way. He's a very, naive person. So whatever you do, I want that. Now it become a challenge because in fact, if you see, there are not many lines. There were lines, were very effective lines, but very less lines. So he's a character who's an observer, who's, has his own kind of way of living life and looking at things. In fact, a very simple man who is not affected by any manipulations.
Right? He had a small family and
yes. So as I said, once you start believing, it slowly starts coming into you, right? Of course, your experience is there and your whatever, but that belief factor, I'm telling you, that is the key of your life. Whatever you do in life, your success will always be with what you believe, right? So that belief factor gives up. I'm talking with my experience. Unless I believe, audience is not going to believe. So you start believing in that character, right? So the director also helps you at certain points. But then, then there is a journey with the director and the actor, and as it goes, as it grows. Yeah.
You said Nagesh Kokunur wrote he had you in your mind when he wrote the script. लेकिन कुछ अभी ऐसा होता है कि they are searching casting directors and all those things. आज भी कभी ऑडिशन देनी पड़ती है, कभी दिए?
हाँ, बिल्कुल देनी पड़ती है. और आजकल तो ये है कि ऑडिशन का जमाना आ गया है. And because what has happened is, one is there are too many now web series and a lot of work for actors, and they want actors who are very close to the character or close to what they have written and whatever, with maybe the
physically and also
physically how one can do. And also, if there is a family, then one has to fall into that family or whatever the director's vision is about. So that is why the auditions for actors also. It has been there in West since years. I mean, even big stars had to give auditions.
Yeah, Brando had to
Brando
give
had to give
audition for Godfather.
Yes. So it is now which is come in India because things have become global now. So, even any Indo collaboration with the foreign films, one has to give an audition. So don't so initially, yes, because we were not used to auditions. So initially it was very audition kya dena hai? But then once you understand the why the auditions are given and why, then you start. So one has to change with the time also. That is again very important thing. Because if you don't change, as I said, many good talent were out of work because they never changed with the technology also. Good editors were very brilliant with the film, editing film, and they didn't change with the digital editing or the Avid or whatever. They were out of work. So one has to change with the technology, with the time. In fact, you should always be adaptable or whatever you get, because those are experiences again. So one is, anytime I come, I go to Dubai, I said, crash your ego, start again.
So that is the basic tip for audition also.
Absolutely.
और क्या audition के कुछ tips दे सकेंगे?
So audition, one is because one is the जो भी casting director है वो अपना अपना बोलता है. So one has to ask questions. क्या age का है ये, किस area का है character, कहाँ से क्या आया. So you get some material, some background of what the character could be, because they are not even allowed to expose all the things. They are only given some limited things to expose. Somehow they don't want to expose the script and whatever, right? Initially. So they give you some very few leads. But once you, obviously, and I don't give all the, because casting directors say phone to aate rehte hain, but unless I believe and unless I get that, okay, this is something really valuable or something which is very authentic, then only I give an audition. But as beginners, you'll have to give auditions, even for ads now. You ad film karni hai, unless you give auditions. But the audience, one is understand the character, ask questions, ask 10 questions, get whatever, everything that you can from the casting director, write down, apna, as I said, go back to your experiences, ye character, how did you behave, or how would this character behave, and be very natural. Because now is the time where everything is natural, closer to life, right? But it's not easy to be closer to life, because after all the skills
you don't have to act there.
Yes.
And you have to act.
Yes. But still you have to act. But that's, so see, I'll tell you, there's a very key magic word. Film and even plays or anything is a mirror of life. And finally, life का ही आप film में देखते हो. Forget about the Bollywood thing. Bollywood is a different ball game altogether, but all good content closer to life. That is why I always said, and I mean, the more you have experiences, you will be more enriched by doing anything, whether you write, whether you act, whether you direct, or whether you anything in life.
So basically सवाल पूछो.
Sawal pucho. Another thing, very important thing, you should always have curiosities. I still have that's why I asked question for Dr. I was very curious. The curiosity should always be with you. Never lose that in life. Never lose that in life. That is the only thing that will enrich you, give you different dimension, give you different perspectives of life.
Curiosity. पूछो सवाल पूछो. Yes. ये तो रैपिड फायर का क्वेश्चन है.
Yeah.
चलो ठीक है.
Yeah. So yes, Dombivli fast, obviously, because that was, very, and had a range of emotion. In fact, Dombivli return also a brilliant character I had to do because I had to show different spectrum of emotions and life that changed. And, then again, the City of Dreams, a very passive, but what a character with different dimensions. In theater also, I have done many characters. I can't count you because you'll not be able to see that. But yes.
सवाल ही नहीं कुछ.
Don't ever be scared to ask foolish question.
Exactly.
Don't be afraid of making a fool of you. Don't be. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Only mistakes can make you,
If you
learn.
do something there, you will be doing mistakes, right?
So as I said, all these experiences come to your way. I gave an example where the script or a play, there are many actors who had done that play, different actors who have done the same play. Like suppose example, Natasamrat, which is a very popular example. Dr. Lagu had done it, Datta Bhatt had done it, Yashwant, so many actors have. Script is the same. Now what comes is your experiences in life and that emotions. So emotions are generally common because it's like happiness, whatever. But still the range of emotion comes with your experiences. Like, I'll tell you, there is a situation where there is a crisis or there is so few actors will do it with full blast, with full melodrama. Few actors will do the same scene with refrained emotions or, the way he does it in life, right?
एकांकिका होती ना ती.
So even the actors initially cannot act, right? Nobody acts, nobody. Before me doing theater or being starting, so nobody, it's every time it's a start of things, right? Whether you direct or whether you act or whether you do whatever. So the point is, yes, You should act also. Why not? Because as I said, that experience, you will then understand how to handle actors as a director. No, that's okay. But yeah, fair enough.
That's
So
the
at
beginning.
that point of time, you have gone blank. But don't give up. Don't give up. Because then once you understand the actors' psychology, their problems or whatever, then you become a good director. I'm not saying that's a rule or but why not? Yeah. I mean, few directors are very good in spite of not being actors. Many directors are not, right? But why not? I mean, if you given a chance, have an experience. Experience doesn't go waste. That is what I'm trying to say here. You're through?
Okay, fine. हाँ.
हाँ. We both. Well, does that matter? Yeah, but does that matter? Fine, we don't. We have 10 funny incidences, but we were not intended to do that. But does that matter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You can tell. You
हाँ.
can-
If you have seen Domboli Return, there is a one typical say item song in that film, which is shot on a boat launch like thing. It had a 2 decks, एक lower deck था और ऊपर upper deck था. तो हम लोग किनारे से छूट गए and then we started going और हमारा इंजन बंद हो गया. बंद किया था फॉर शूटिंग पर्पस और वो शुरू ही नहीं हो रहा था और हमारे यहाँ पे एंकर भी नहीं था कि हम रुके या कहीं भी. सो हम वी वर टोटली वेवर्ड. हम रुक भी नहीं सकते थे और हम जा भी नहीं सकते थे कहीं. और हमारा शूटिंग भी खत्म हो गया था. इट वाज अ नाइट शूट. किसी को बुला भी नहीं सकते थे कि हमको आके लेके जाए. And we have to do nothing, but we have to picnic over there after our pack up. So if you think this is funny now, but it was not funny then. हम लोग बीच में थे और हमें कोई बचाने वाला नहीं था तब. हम लोग वहीं पे थे, मर नहीं रहे थे. We are quite high, we have food bit सब था वहाँ पे. सुबह दूसरी बोट आई और हमको टो करके लेके गई. So that was a funny, but थोड़ा सा हॉरर टाइप था. अच्छा, one more thing I would like to request Sandeep is एक छोटा सा performance if you can do. You are very nice in narrating a poetry, कविता. So कोई हिंदी या मराठी कविता अगर आपको जो अच्छी लगी हो, please narrate.
So कविता तो खैर है, लेकिन एक हम so I'll give this. See why this is because Satyadev Dubey taught us, or he gave us this thing, that remembering poems, yeah, remembering kathas and performing it or just riyazing it, you know, always gives you enrichment, or it keeps you alive. Even if you don't have a play, aapko nahi mil raha, aap busy ho ye ho, but you know, you keep on doing that. So there's this one thing that I always used to recite. It was Sharad Joshi is a writer like Pula Deshpande in Marathi. So Sharad Joshi is a very vyang jisko likhte the humor in his writing. So there's this writing called राष्ट्रभाषा हिंदी का प्रेम पत्रों में स्थान. उस समय मोबाइल्स नहीं थे, उस जमाने की बात वो कर रहे थे. राष्ट्रभाषा हिंदी का प्रेम पत्रों में, मतलब तो प्रेम पत्र लिखते थे ना, तभी तो बहुत नाइव थे हम लोग. हम जब ये थे तब फोन्स नहीं थे, हम लोग नाइव थे. प्रेम में आदमी एकदम से अंधा नहीं होता, धीरे धीरे होता है। पहले तो उसकी आंखों की दृष्टि कम हो जाती है। इसका प्रमाण ही है कि जिस लड़की से वो प्रेम करता है वो उसे अब से यकायक सुंदर दिखने लगती है। इधर आंखों की दृष्टि कम हुई और उधर कन्या का चेहरा प्रकाशमय नजर आने लगा। और इसी चौंधियाने की सी हालत में वो अपने जीवन का पहला प्रेम पत्र लिखने बैठता है और तब उसे पता चलता है कि हिंदी में प्रेम पत्र लिखना प्रेम करने से ज्यादा कठिन काम है। और यहीं पर आकर हमारी राष्ट्रभाषा हिंदी के सम्मान का प्रश्न उपस्थित होता है। हमारी राष्ट्रभाषा हिंदी की स्थिति ऐसी है कि मूर्ख अच्छे प्रेमिक साबित होते हैं और जो विद्वान हैं, भाषा जानते हैं, वे असफल हो जाते हैं। अब मेरा ही उदाहरण लीजिए, जिस तरह लड़कियों ने मेरे प्रेम पत्र रिजेक्ट कर दिए, उसी तरह संपादकों ने मेरे लेख रिजेक्ट कर दिए। लेकिन संपादकों से तो खैर मैं अड़ा रहूंगा और लिखते लिखते लेखक बन भी जाऊंगा, लेकिन वो लड़कियां मेरी चिट्ठियां ग्रहण करने के बजाय किसी और के साथ पानी ग्रहण कर चली जाएंगी। हमारी भारतीय शिक्षा प्रणाली का दोष ये भी है कि इसमें प्रेम पत्र लिखना नहीं सिखाया जाता। आज हमारे युवक कहते हैं कि उनकी शिक्षा जीवनोपयोगी नहीं है, तो उनका एक आशय ये भी है कि पढ़ाई में प्रेम पत्रों का बहुत महत्वपूर्ण स्थान है। स्कूलों में हमें यह तो कहा जाता है कि मित्र को पत्र लिखकर बताओ कि गर्मियों की छुट्टियां कैसे बीती, या फिर पिताजी को पत्र लिखकर बताओ कि इम्तिहान के पर्चे कैसे गए। पर कोई शिक्षक ये नहीं पूछता कि अपनी प्रेमिका को पत्र लिखकर बताओ कि तुम्हारे जाने के बाद इस सनम खाने पर क्या गुजरी, या जब तुम्हें पहली बार देखा तो दिल में कैसा लगा। कोई शिक्षक ये नहीं पूछता। लेकिन जो होनहार छात्र होते हैं वे अपनी पाठ्य पुस्तकों की सीमाओं में बंधे नहीं रहते, वे अनुभव से अपना ज्ञान बढ़ाते हैं। तो अपने छात्र जीवन में मैंने भी बिल्कुल ऐसा ही किया। पहला मौका पाते ही मैं प्रेम पत्र लिखने बैठ गया। पहला प्रेम पत्र लिखना बड़ा सरपिच्ची का काम था। इसमें हमारी राष्ट्रभाषा कौड़ी मदद नहीं करती। हमारी हिंदी में प्रेम शब्दावली इतनी पिछड़ी हुई है, इतनी कम है कि नाजुक मौकों पर हमें उर्दू से काम चलाना पड़ता है। तो अब जरा सोचिए, ऐसी पिछड़ी शब्दावली में, कम शब्दावली में हम आधुनिक युवतियों को कैसे प्रेम पत्र लिख सकते हैं। तो आज जरूरी है कि एक आयोग की स्थापना हो जो इस विषय पर विचार करे। तो मैं जानना चाहता हूं कि हमारी राष्ट्रभाषा प्रचार संस्था इस मामले में क्या कर रही है, गवर्नमेंट क्या कर रही है। क्या उन्हें यह नहीं पता कि प्रेम पत्र राष्ट्रभाषा प्रचार के सर्वश्रेष्ठ माध्यम है। कल हमारी राष्ट्रभाषा विश्व की स्तर की भाषा बनने जा रही है। कल हमारे युवक हिंदी में आधुनिक युवतियों को, बाहर वाले देशों की युवतियों को हिंदी में प्रेम पत्र लिखेंगे। अगर हिंदी में लिखे इन पत्रों का असर नहीं हुआ, लड़की शादी को राजी नहीं हुई, तो हमारे युवकों का क्या जाएगा। नाक तो राष्ट्रभाषा की कटेगी। है वो मेरा पहला प्रेम पत्र था, इसलिए मैंने अपने मित्र की सलाह लेने की सोची। उसकी हिंदी मुझसे अच्छी थी। उसने इतने प्रेम पत्र लिखे थे कि मोहल्ले में तो उसकी इज्जत गिर चुकी थी, लेकिन पोस्ट ऑफिस वालों की नजर में काफी थी। तो लड़की का नाम क्या है, उसने मुझसे पूछा। मैंने कहा नाम नहीं बताऊंगा, क्या भरोसा, कल खुद ही लिख भेजो। प्रेम पत्र लिखना जरूरी है का? मैंने कहा जरूरी क्या होता है, बैंक से लोन लेना है, जब जरूरत पड़े तभी एप्लीकेशन करें। यार बात लिखित में आ रही, सोच लो। मैंने कहा प्रेम अंधा होता है। अरे टटोल के देखना पड़ता है कि संभावना है कि नहीं। मैंने कहा प्रेम पत्र नहीं लिखूंगा तब तक परिस्थितियां कैसे उपलब्ध होगी। आखिर वो मदद देने को राजी हो गया। मैंने कहा देखो यार, पत्र की भाषा, भावना शुद्ध हो ना हो, पत्र की भाषा शुद्ध होनी चाहिए। हिंदी के लेखक के नाते अपना एक इमेज है, सो बिगड़ना नहीं चाहिए। वो लड़की भी क्या चीज थी, बंजर जमीन पर खिले गुलाब के फूल जैसी। जब देखती थी तो दिल पे तलवार सी चल जाती थी, भवानी टाइप की। इतना तो कहना होगा मित्रों की आजादी के बाद लड़कियों का सिर उठा है, चाहे राष्ट्रभाषा का इतना नहीं उठा हो। खैर आप जानने को उत्सुक होंगे कि उस प्रेम पत्र का क्या हुआ जो मैंने उस कन्या को लिखा था। राष्ट्रभाषा की उन्नति में आपकी गहरी रुचि में समझ सकता हूं। वो कन्या जिसे मैंने प्रेम पत्र लिखा था, वो उस पत्र का अर्थ समझ नहीं पाई। उसने वो खत अपनी मां को दिया, वो थोड़ा थोड़ा समझी। उन्होंने लड़की को पिताजी को दिया, वे काफी कुछ समझ गए। पिताजी ने स्कूल के प्रिंसिपल को दिया, वे सब कुछ समझ गए। उनकी हिंदी बहुत ही अच्छी थी। पत्रों की भावना को जानने के बाद में क्रोध में आ गए और बोले मैं इस संदीप के बच्चे का सिर तोड़ दूंगा। हिंदी के मौलिक लेखकों को प्राय ऐसी चुनौतियों का सामना करना पड़ता है। मैं इन प्रिंसिपल महोदय के बारे में सिर्फ इतना कहूंगा कि जितने पीटने वाले प्रिंसिपलों के नाम हैं, उनमें हमारे स्कूल के प्रिंसिपल का नाम स्वर्ण अक्षरों में लिखा जाता है। इनके द्वारा पीटे हुए बालक भविष्य में आगे चलकर बड़े बड़े पदों पर विराजमान है, कुर्सी पर भी बैठे हैं। इन्होंने मेरी प्रतिभा को सही रूप में पहचाना। ये लड़का जो आप लड़की को पत्र लिखता है, कल बड़ा होकर अच्छा लेखक बनेगा, समस्त नर नारियां इसको पढ़ेंगे, राष्ट्रभाषा की सेवा करेगा, इसको पीटना बहुत जरूरी है। उन्होंने मुझसे पूछा तुम्हारी हिम्मत कैसे हुई इस लड़की को प्रेम पत्र लिखने की। मैंने कहा सर, आत्मविवंचना के लिए साहस पहली आवश्यकता है। वे जब मुझे पीट रहे थे तब मुझे गहराई से एहसास हुआ कि आगे चलकर मैं क्या करूं, मतलब मैं प्रेम पत्र लिखूं या राष्ट्रभाषा की सेवा करूं। वो कन्या जिसे मैंने पत्र लिखा था वो पता नहीं कहाँ है, उसने किसी अच्छे हिंदी न जानने वाले से शादी कर ली। उसकी तकदीर जोरदार थी, अपनी कलम जोरदार है। वे सभी जिन जिन को मैंने प्रेम पत्र लिखे किसी और के साथ शादी करके चली गई। अब सिर्फ जोरदार कलम बाकी है जो राष्ट्रभाषा की सेवा में समर्पित की हो। तो आपको एक बात तो माननी पड़ेगी, आप मानेंगे कि ज्यादा प्रेम पत्र लिखने के चक्कर में मैंने अपना स्तर चाहे कितना ही गिरा दिया हो, लेकिन राष्ट्रभाषा का स्तर गिरने नहीं दिया।
थैंक यू संदीप।
थैंक यू।
We request Shamta ma'am to felicitate our guest speaker, Mr. Sandeep. Dharmendra sir, can we have you on stage? Thank you, Sandeep sir, and thank you, Mahendra Desai sir. It's always a wonderful time knowing the stories of a person who has played multiple stories. So another big hand for Sandeep Kulkarni sir, and thank you for Mahendra sir for helping us go through his stories. As someone who engineers the society through his political writing, most definitely his pen is his sword. He's a political writer for Midday and has worked for the Indian Express and Hindustan Times, each for a decade. Another fact about this personality is that he has been awarded the Anil Kumar Memorial Patrakarita Puraskar for his 30 years long dedicated work in reporting. Let us welcome the very eloquent and compelling Mr. Dharmendra Zore.
चलो स्टैंड अप चालू करें। विच लैंग्वेज डू यू प्रिफर? मैं आपको अंग्रेजी में पूछ रहा हूं। हाँ, हिंदी ना? मराठी, हिंदी, इंग्लिश एकदम सुपर खिचड़ी, थोड़ी स्पाइसी, थोड़ी मीठी, गुजराती, मराठी स्टाइल चलेगा ना? तो मैं आप लोगों की, ये प्रेजेंटर कहाँ गए? प्रेजेंटर रुकेंगे जरा, मुझे आपकी गलती निकालनी है। You said I was awarded for 30 years, and then you said I am political reporter. मेरा आपने डिमोशन कर दिया, मुझे बहुत गुस्सा आया। मैं पॉलिटिकल एडिटर हूं। एंड देन आपने जब डॉक्टर साहब को इंट्रोड्यूस किया, द डांसर, यू सेड डॉक्टर। मैं वेरी बेसिक्स, जो जर्नलिज्म के स्टूडेंट है, जो मार्केटिंग के स्टूडेंट्स है, जो एडवर्टाइजिंग के स्टूडेंट्स है, आपको प्रोफेशन में जाने के लिए हर चीज की बेसिक, वेरी बेसिक, बाबा शेट्टिनो को मारो रे, दिस इज जेंटलमैन नॉट लेडी, मला बघून शिट्टी मारतो, कमी कर। डॉक्टर, you get DR for various things. When you say he is doctor, and then you say he has researched, he has done PhD, so I think a person who does PhD puts more effort in his job. MBBS नहीं है वो, उन्होंने MBBS के आगे जाकर B Pharm, D Pharm, M Pharm करके उन्होंने, this is how you find extraordinary stories. So what is ordinary? आज आपको किसी ने नहीं बताया होगा, मैंने इन सब लोगों का सुना, आप लोग बहुत बोर हो गए हैं, मुझे मालूम है ना? बोर हुए ना? मैं आपको बोर नहीं होने दूंगा, 10 मिनट में खत्म कर दूंगा, उसके बाद हम लोग बातचीत करें। जर्नलिज्म में कितने लोग इंटरेस्टेड है? रेज योर हैंड्स। वेरी गुड। आई ऑलवेज टेल पीपल, इंटरेस्ट है तो ही जर्नलिज्म में जाना, नहीं तो मत जाना। इवन आई हैड टोल्ड दिस टू माय only son who is no more.
Sir,
That is
we have a
other
separate
story.
division for journalism.
This is not journalism.
No, we have it in the 3rd year, and there's a separate division for the journalism
So
faculty.
journalism students are not here.
They are here.
So now only 13. Very good for journalism, because I never found the degree which I did in journalism useful while doing my profession. I told Raj Purohit, who stays in my locality, मतलब भाई क्यों कर रहा है? तुझे अगर जर्नलिस्ट नहीं बनना है, नहीं मुझे जॉब मिलना है, तो डिग्री देखेंगे। एक्चुअली आई डिड माय पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन इन जर्नलिज्म इस जॉब में आने के बाद। अब मुझे आप बताइए, आप ऑर्डिनरी को कैसा समझोगे? अगर एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी स्टोरीज आपको ढूंढनी है, तो ऑर्डिनरी लाइव्स आपको ढूंढनी पड़ेगी ना? कैसे ढूंढोगे? आपके लिए ऑर्डिनरी क्या है? व्हाट इज ऑर्डिनरी लाइफ बंबई वालों के लिए? टेल मी। अगं मी रोजच्या आयुष्याचं बोलतोय। हा, आणखी what else? Traveling which mode? No. आणखी काही लोकल ट्रेन्स मध्ये crowded second class compartment, not first class. फर्स्ट क्लास वाले सेकंड क्लासला कसे बघतात, सेकंड क्लास वाले फर्स्ट क्लासला कसं बघतात, तुम्ही एक्सपिरियन्स केलं असेल ना? दीज आर व्हेरी मायन्यूट थिंग्स. ह्याच गोष्टी ऍडव्हर्टायझिंग वाले आहेत नाही ते बसलेले. का रे, किती आहेत ऍडव्हर्टायझिंग वाले? दोज हू वांट टू मेक देयर फिल्म्स, मेक कैरेक्टर्स, फेविकॉल का जोड़े टाइप। क्यों बना पाए भाई पीयूष पांडे ऐसी एड? मालूम है क्यों बना पाए? ये जो 4 लोग यहाँ बोलकर गए ना, जिनसे आप बोर हो गए ऐसा बोल रहे, वो आपको यही कह के गए, एक्सपीरियंस लो, लाइफ को देखो, अपनी भी, अपने से ज्यादा दूसरों की। बिकॉज खुद की लाइफ से हम नहीं सोचते, खुद के लाइफ से हम लोग कुछ सीखते नहीं, हम सीखते हैं दूसरों की लाइफ देखकर। सिंस यू आर गोइंग टू बी मीडिया पर्सन्स, एवरीथिंग यू विल बी टेलिंग विल बी अबाउट अदर्स। और अदर्स को जब बताओगे तो उसके लिए फाउंडेशन होगा तुम्हारे खुद के लाइफ का। तो इसीलिए तुमको ऑर्डिनरी एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी समझने के लिए ऑर्डिनरी क्या है ये समझना चाहिए। जो मेरे लिए ऑर्डिनरी है वो आपके लिए ऑर्डिनरी है ये जरूरी नहीं। यहाँ अगर कोई बिलियनर का लड़का है जिसके फादर का नेट आज 1000 करोड़ है, उसके लिए मैं आप जो भी होंगे लोअर मिडिल क्लास वो तो कुछ भी नहीं है। पाँव का नाखून, हीरो लोग बोलते ना आप तो मैं तो इनके पाँव के नाखून का भी बराबर ही नहीं करता। वही मिडिल क्लास के लिए जो ऑर्डिनरी होगा वो दूसरे को देखेगा। हम ऑर्डिनरी किस पे सोचते हैं? हम पैसे का देखते हैं, उसके क्लोथ देखते हैं, हाँ, आउटर अपीयरेंस, उसका घर कैसा है, 1 BHK में रहता है, रूम इसमें रहता है, स्लम्स में रहता है, कहाँ रहता है। दिस प्लेस, बंबई में रहने वाले जो बच्चे हैं आप लोग, आप इतने फॉर्चुनेट हो कि आपको सब एक ही जगह देखने को मिलता है। अगर आपके पास आईज है, देखो दो लड़का लड़की, इफ यू आर नॉट बॉयफ्रेंड एंड गर्लफ्रेंड, गिव अटेंशन टू मी। या आपके उसमें भी काम में आएगा, कोर्टिंग में भी काम में आएगा, अगले वाली लाइफ में भी काम आएगा। आप आपके पेरेंट्स को भी बहुत अच्छा कन्विंस कर पाओगे कि व्हाई यू मेक अ गुड पेयर। जो भी है, मजाक कर रहा हूं मैंने देखा नहीं किसी को ऐसा। मुझे ये हंसी सुननी थी आप लोगों की, ये हंसी मुझे सीखनी थी। तो बैक टू ऑर्डिनरी। मेरे लिए जो ऑर्डिनरी है वो आपके लिए नहीं हो सकता, आपके लिए जो ऑर्डिनरी है वो मेरे लिए नहीं हो सकता। इसीलिए एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी स्टोरीज समझने के लिए हमें अपने अपने सेट ऑफ इक्वेशंस रहते हैं। लेकिन ये सब एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी स्टोरीज में एक कॉमन फैक्टर होता है, हो सकता है 2 कॉमन फैक्टर हो, उसमें हार्डशिप होती है। 1000 करोड़ का बंदा, हंस क्यों रहे हो? इज माई अपीयरेंस फनी और मैं जोकर इनफ नहीं लग रहा हूं स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी जैसा? आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू इमिटेट जकीर खान, ग्रेट है वो बंदा। हाँ, अभी क्या बोल रहा था मैं? कैन यू थोड़ा सा पीछे यूट्यूब को थोड़ा सा रिवर्ट कर सकते हो? व्हाट वाज, वेयर वाज आई? ऑर्डिनरी। 1000 करोड़ का बंदा है, उसको 20,000 का करोड़ का उसको अंपायर करना है, उसको भी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी ना। और जिसका महीने का 3000 रुपए सैलरी है, मैं आपको इसलिए मैं पैसों की लैंग्वेज से समझा रहा हूं क्योंकि दैट इज द बेस्ट लैंग्वेज आई थिंक द कीड ऑफ योर जनरेशन अंडरस्टैंड। एंड द अदर लैंग्वेज इज हिट्स, सब्सक्राइबर्स। मेरा रील इतने लोगों ने देखा, उसका इसमें भी ऑर्डिनरी एंड एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी है, इसमें भी स्टेटस है। जिसके 10 सब्सक्राइबर है और जिसके 1000 सब्सक्राइबर है, 1000 वाले के लिए 10 वाला ऑर्डिनरी है। लेकिन आप एज ए मीडिया पर्सन, हंसू नकोस ग, आप एज ए मीडिया पर्सन आपको ये देखना है कि वो जो ऑर्डिनरी है ना 10 वाला, या फिर जिसके पास 3000 रुपीज सैलरी है उसकी, उसके लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है, दैट गिव्स यू एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी स्टोरी। वही स्टोरी आपको 1000 वाले में मिलेगी, लेकिन उसका जो प्रेजेंटेशन होगा खुद का, जिसके बारे में आपको समझना है, उसके लिए आपको उस लेवल पे जाके सोचना पड़ेगा। उस लेवल की आपको पढ़ाई करनी होगी। पढ़ाई मीन ऐसा नहीं, आई मीन 1000 पेज का बुक पढ़ लिए, वो पढ़ाई की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ। वो पढ़ाई मैंने भी खुद नहीं करी है। I'll complete 31 years coming 15 अक्टूबर को मेरे 31 years कंप्लीट हो गए। मैंने ये प्रोफेशन छोड़कर दूसरा कुछ अटेम्प्ट नहीं किया। मैं बोलता हूँ कि इसके सिवा मुझे कुछ नहीं आता। ये छोड़कर मुझे कुछ नहीं आता। हो सकता है मैं कुछ अटेम्प्ट करूं तो मुझे आ जाए, लेकिन मुझे नहीं करना है। इसलिए नहीं करना है, अभी मैं आपको मेरी स्टोरी बताता हूं क्यों नहीं करना है और कुछ चीजें मुझे सिर्फ जर्नलिज्म ही क्यों करना था। मैं एक छोटे से टाउन से आता हूं, जो अभी टाउन है, पहले वो विलेज था। मेरे फादर टीचर थे, इंटेलिजेंट बंदा था, बहुत पढ़ा लिखा बंदा था। लेकिन सोचा कि नहीं, मैं विलेज में जाके कोट एंड कोट मास्टरी करूंगा. So he went there, he married to a social worker. My mother is still there. वो स्कूल चालू किया, पहले ही था, but they were from the first batch which actually started that school. 40 साल के बाद जब मैं वहां वापस जाता हूँ तो वहां मुझे एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी स्टोरीज मिलती है. उसमें की एक एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी स्टोरी मेरी है. क्यों? 10वीं तक मैं मराठी मीडियम में पढ़ा. 1992 के पहले से मैं अंग्रेजी में लिखता आया हूँ. आज आपने बोला हिंदी में बात करना है, इसलिए मैं हिंदी में बात कर रहा हूँ. आप इसका ये मतलब ना करें कि डोंट अंडर एस्टिमेट माई अंग्रेजी, कि मुझे अंग्रेजी नहीं आती. ये मजाक है. कुछ लोग सोचते हैं कि भैया इसने ऐसा गेम करके हिंदी में बोलने के अपना जॉब तो इजी नहीं कर लिया. इज ही फेकिंग हिज नॉलेज? नो, आई एम नॉट फेकिंग हिज नॉलेज, आई एम नॉट फेकिंग माई एक्सपीरियंस. वन मोर लेसन. जिंदगी में आपको सोचना है, इफ यू वांट टू डू एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी स्टोरीज, टू डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन सच्चाई एंड फेक. देखो आज का जमाना, वो मैडम बोल कर गई, फेक का जमाना है. ये कोई हीरा पन्ना में जाकर सेकंड कॉपी, थर्ड कॉपी, फिफ्थ कॉपी, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता इसमें. When you write stories, when you present stories in different forms, somebody wants to be an actor, somebody wants to be a presenter, somebody wants to be a print journalist. Hopefully किसी को प्रिंट में भी जाना है. प्रिंट की लाइफ है कि नहीं भाई तुम्हारे लिए कुछ? हम तो प्रिंट वाले पूछते रहते, हमारा दिन अच्छा जाता है. whenever someone says no, I write for a newspaper, letter to the editor, because I still like print. प्रिंट मालूम है कितने लोग पेपर पढ़ते रहे? हाउ मेनी पीपल रीड न्यूज़पेपर एवरी मॉर्निंग? ऑनलाइन और बंद हो जाएगा हमारा. मुझे लगता है मुझे 6 महीने में ही निकाल देंगे, हमारी सैलरी वैलरी बंद हो जाएंगे. ऐसा होगा तो एक ही बंदा पेपर पढ़ता है. अच्छा, डिजिटली कौन कौन पढ़ता है? गुड. तो फिर कैसा तुम लोग करोगे हो अगर तुम कुछ पढ़ नहीं रहे हो? व्हाट एल्स डू यू रीड? Anyone who has written a novel, read a novel, written तो बहुत आगे की बात है. इतने में किसी ने कुछ पढ़ा है? What do you read? Which genre? Louder. Good. So you can, I think you are the person who attempted direction, right? Na? अच्छा है, वो तुम्हारे काम में आएगा. You could be a good writer also, but don't copy them. There is enough horror here in India. मैं बहुत सारी हॉरर की बात. हॉरर इज नॉट लिमिटेड टू भूत प्रेत. Horror is a definition that covers so many things. Horror could be bhoot, horror could be emotion, horror could be you and me. It's about feeling, right? So coming back to my story, I studied in Marathi medium because my parents wanted me to be a student of Marathi medium, because their concern was, their belief was कि आप अगर अपनी मातृभाषा में पढ़ते हो तो आपको नॉलेज बहुत मिलता है. दैट इज ट्रू. मेरा बेसिक बहुत अच्छा हुआ, बट एट द सेम टाइम दे इंश्योर्ड दैट मेरा अंग्रेजी भी बहुत अच्छा हो. Both were good teachers, so they ensured that my language improved. I got, for at least 10 years, टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया मुंबई एडिशन, जो हमारे यहाँ 3 दिन के बाद डिलीवर होता था. माई प्लेस इज 650 किलोमीटर्स फ्रॉम मुंबई. तभी इंटरनेट नहीं था. आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ 78, 79. I was born when Rajesh Khanna had just arrived. Amita was nowhere. Dharmendra was a rage. That's why I am named Dharmendra. That is altogether a different story. My father and mother had a fight. My mother said, no, I am Dharmendra's fan. Dharmendra मालूम है ना आपको? हाँ, very good. My mother said, no, I am Dharmendra's great fan. So I'll name my son. I happens to be the last among 4, one brother. हंसो मत, तब ये ट्रेंड था 4 का, तब बाकी कुछ नहीं था, तब कुछ नहीं था. उसके बाद वो लगने लगे पोस्टर्स. दैट विल आल्सो टेल यू, ये एक्सपीरियंसेस आपने लेने चाहिए. मराठी मीडियम ensured that the language which will help him grow in his life, वो भी अच्छा किया. तो आपको एक लैंग्वेज के साथ एटलीस्ट 3 लैंग्वेजेस आपको पढ़नी चाहिए अगर इफ यू वांट टू बी अ गुड मीडिया पर्सन, इफ यू वांट टू बी अ गुड स्टोरी टेलर. जब तक आपको बाकी लोगों का एटलीस्ट गुजराती नहीं आती तो गुजराती समझ नहीं आनी चाहिए, मराठी नहीं आती तो एटलीस्ट मराठी समझ नहीं आनी चाहिए, हिंदी नहीं आती ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, अंग्रेजी नहीं आती अंग्रेजी बोलने का ट्राई करो. जो अंग्रेजी बोल रहे उनके बीच में जाके बैठो, क्योंकि एक मराठी मधले ना न्यूनगंड नावाचा एक प्रकार असतो की यू फील लाइक यू नो मुझे कुछ नहीं आएगा तो आई अवॉइड दोज थिंग्स. मैं वो चीज करने को ही देखता नहीं, मैं जाता ही नहीं उसके आसपास, तो वो गलत है. अनलेस यू अप्रोच देयर आप नहीं कर पाओगे. इसलिए मैं आज, मुझे लगता है चंदू ने मुझे यहाँ मैडम को ये किया, सजेस्ट किया और मुझे यहाँ आने के लिए बोला. आई एम नॉट हियर टू एडवाइज यू. एक सेइंग है वो सुन लो, आपके घर के लोग भी बोलते होंगे. आपको एल्डर्स का इसलिए सुनना चाहिए, इसलिए नहीं कि उनको बहुत बड़ा ज्ञान होता है, उनको सब दुनिया की चीजें मालूम होती है, ऐसा नहीं है. एल्डर्स को फेल्यूर का एक्सपीरियंस होता है, मालूम है मुझे. मेरे जितने सक्सेसेस होंगे उससे ज्यादा नंबर ऑफ फेलियर्स मेरे ज्यादा है. इसीलिए बीइंग योर एल्डर इन वन ऑफ द प्रोफेशंस व्हिच यू वांट टू परस्यू, मेरा ये ड्यूटी है कि मैं आपको फेलियर्स के बारे में बताऊं, ना कि मेरे सक्सेसेस के बारे में बताऊं. ये जनरलाइज कर. अगर मेरे जैसा बंदा, तुम्हारे टीचर्स, प्रोफेशनल्स जो जिनको तुम आगे जाकर एफपीजी बनाओगे, एफपीजी फ्रेंड फिलोसोफर एंड गाइड, वो लोग यही करेंगे. आपके बॉसेस भी अच्छे होंगे तो यही करेंगे. दे विल ऑलवेज टेल यू फेलियर. ऐसा मत करो. इसका आप लोगों को गुस्सा आता है जब पेरेंट्स बोलते हैं, जब टीचर्स बोलते हैं ऐसा मत करो. क्यों बोलते हैं? क्योंकि वो मालूम है इसके बाद क्या होने वाला. देखो फेलियर ये होता है, 40 साल के पहले का हो, 60 साल के पहले का हो, अभी का हो, बात का भी हो. स्टोरी टेलिंग इज एन क्राफ्ट, is an art, whatever format you chose to be in, right? कुछ चीजें ऐसी होती कि 1000 साल के बाद भी चेंज नहीं होगी, 2000 साल पहले भी वैसी थी. वैसा ही स्टोरी टेलिंग है, सिर्फ फॉर्मेट्स बदल गए. आपको लोगों को जो प्रेजेंट कर रहे हो वो एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी है, वो एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी लोगों के ऊपर है. ये जरूरी नहीं है आप ऑर्डिनरी लोगों के ऊपर करिए वाली स्टोरी भी एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी कर सकते हो. समझा क्या? दैट इज व्हाट प्रोपेगेंडा इज. दैट इज व्हाट advertising professionals sitting here will be doing in next few years. भाई प्रोपेगेंडा नाउन है, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसका अटैचमेंट आजकल नेगेटिव चीजों से हो गया है. प्रोपेगेंडा इज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन. I proudly say I am not journalist. I am information executive because I believe in neutrality. People say neutrality is not good. No journalist can be neutral. I say while writing, I am neutral. As a person, I may have liking for some ideology, but I ensure that the ideology which I like does not reflect in my writing. That is very difficult to come by. That comes only with experience, only when you think you are ordinary. General, सामान्य. सामान्य माणूस कधी होतो? जेव्हा यांनी सांगितलं ना संदीपने की तुम्हाला तुमचा इगो विसरावा लागतो. गुड फॉर Good advice for people like me, people like you, the budding media people, media persons, to understand others, to understand ordinary, and to understand what extraordinary stories ordinary lives have. You will have to crash your ego. अगर आप किसी गरीब के घर जो इतना स्वाभिमानी है उसको आप ऐसे अप्रोच करोगे, ये अर्बन किड्स का टिपिकल प्रॉब्लम है. इन यूर टिपिकल अर्बन किड्स, आपने ना विलेज देखा है, ना आपने सेमी अर्बन देखा है, ना आपने सिर्फ अपना बॉम्बे देखा है. कितने लोग बाहर जाते, आई एम ऑन, कितने लोग बाहर जाते, नॉट फॉर पिकनिक एंड ये. जैसे मैडम ने बोला कि मालवनी जाने के लिए किसी ने भी बोला नहीं. अगर आपकी जगह मैं होता तो मैं उनसे तो नेटवर्क कर लेता, मैं कल ही चले जाता उनके पास मिलने के लिए, मैडम के पास कल ही चला जाता. ये जो है ना ऑर्डिनरी लाइव्स एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी स्टोरी, इस पे किसी ने क्वेश्चन भी नहीं पूछे. आज आप अपनी टैगलाइन भी भूल गए ना. So now I tell you why my people in village, which is now 10,000 population, which was when I left 38 years ago, it was mere 5,000. Now they are almost Nagar Panchayat. Happening school, happening college, hospitals, the biggest, the largest fixed deposits in banks. That is extraordinary story of that ordinary village now. But for them, I am still ordinary, who has achieved extraordinary thing, because despite being a board merit student in 10th, I chose to be an art student. Everybody expected me to be an engineer or a doctor. That was my choice. My parents, my elder brother, sister were supportive of me. They said, you do whatever you want. We are doing whatever we wanted to do, so you do it. And to be a journalist, the inspiration came from my father. He was a part-time writer. You know, when small places have contributors, then even now the newspapers have contributors. So I thought कि मुझे ये करना है. I always like storytelling. मैं भी आज अभी आपके साथ जैसा मैं कुछ आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ, ऐसी मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. मैं लिखता भी हूँ तो ऐसे ही लिखता हूँ. मैं पॉलिटिकल स्टोरीज भी लिखता हूँ तो ऐसे ही लिखता हूँ. मेरे पॉलिटिकल एनालिसिस भी ऐसे ही होते हैं. I write for a person who has failed his 10th standard. वड्डी वड्डी बातें करके लोगों के समझ में नहीं आता. मराठी में कर रहे हो, अंग्रेजी में कर रहे हो, गुजराती में कर रहे हो, पंजाबी में कर रहे हो, कोई भी लैंग्वेज में कर रहे हो, स्पीक ऑर्डिनरी लैंग्वेज, राइट ऑर्डिनरी लैंग्वेज. एडवर्टाइजिंग वाले कौन है? कोई बड़ी हाई फाई इंग्लिश, संस्कृत, मराठी में कोई ऐड देखा है? फॉरगेट दैट गूगल ट्रांसलेशंस ना. आजकल जो भलते सलते पेज में आज मैंने वहां भी स्टैंडर्ड खत्म हो गया. उनके पास भी अच्छे ट्रांसलेटर्स नहीं है. अंग्रेजी का ऐसा ऐसा कर देते हैं, मराठी हिंदी में ट्रांसलेशन बोगसगिरी, हंसने को आता है. सो इसलिए बोल रहा हूं मैं, आपको खुद की अगर एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी स्टोरी करनी है तो अभी से खुद को ऑर्डिनरी समझना चालू करो. वैसे ही रहो जिंदगी भर. अपनी एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी स्टोरी क्रिएट करते रहो. दूसरों की एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी स्टोरी खोजते रहो. दूसरों की स्टोरी खोजते रहोगे, तुम खुद इंस्पायर होगे एक एक स्टेप ऊपर जाने के लिए. नॉट ओनली इन योर प्रोफेशन बट ऑल्सो इन योर पर्सनल लाइफ. आजकल बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो गया है, बैलेंसिंग प्रोफेशनल लाइफ एंड पर्सनल लाइफ. एंड इट हैपन्स more and more with the people who are in our profession, in media, right? आपको अभी बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है कि मैं जाऊंगी, मैं ये करूंगी, वो करूंगी. जब सुबह 8 बजे जाओगी और रात को 10 बजे 11 बजे वापस आओगी, तो फिर आपको समझ में आएगा कि आप कितने ऑर्डिनरी है। इसके बजाय तो मैं 95 कहीं कर लूं, लाइफ सॉर्टेड हो जाएगी। ऐसा नहीं है। और आपको कोई चाय वाय भी नहीं, किसी ने बोला था मैडम ने कि आप तो पहले 6 महीना चाय ही लाते रहोगे, ऐसा नहीं होता। बीइंग अ न्यूज पर्सन, बीइंग न्यूज रूम इंचार्ज, ये हमारे इंटर्न्स के साथ, बाकी जगह होता होगा मुझे नहीं है, बट आई ट्रीट माय इंटर्न्स, माय जूनियर रिपोर्टर्स with great respect. Why? I treat you as my teacher. मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं मालूम होती। मुझे अगर आज के जनरेशन का पता करना है, मुझे तुम्हारे जैसा बनना है, मुझे तुमसे निकालनी है भाई क्या है, क्या चल रहा है टिंडर पे, क्या इंस्टा पे चल रहा है, व्हाट इज द ट्रेंड, कौन सा फैशन है, क्या हो गया है, बूट कट का क्या हुआ, अब क्या होगा, लोअर हो गया, अपर हो गया, ये हो गया होगा। दिस इज हाउ, विथ नो जेंडर बायस। आप ये भी बात सुन लो, जो बहुत बोल रहे कि हम मर्द टाइप का जो बिहेवियर है ना, ये इंडस्ट्री में नहीं चलता, ये ऐसी है वो ऐसी है। मैं स्पेशली मेल लोगों को बता रहा हूँ, जेंटलमैन लोगों को बता रहा हूँ, डोंट एवर डू दैट। दूसरे दिन तीसरे दिन या फिर 20 साल के बाद तुम्हारा मीटू हो जाएगा। कहीं भी जाओ, रिस्पेक्ट others, respect all people, then only आप भाई फाइनली मैं आपको यही बता सकता हूँ जो मेरी एक्सपर्टीज है, जो मैं 31 साल से कर रहा हूं, मैं बड़ी अमल तरीके से करता हूं। आई हैव मेनी फ्रेंड्स, उससे ज्यादा मेरे दुश्मन भी हो सकते हैं। तो मैं हम लोगों को बड़े प्राउड फीलिंग के साथ बोलता हूं कि दोस्तों से ज्यादा जिसके दुश्मन हो, उसको आप जिंदगी में सक्सेसफुल समझो। अगर जर्नलिस्ट बनना है तो वैसा बनो, एडवर्टाइजर बनना है तो एकदम पहले 8 सेकंड का तुम्हारा स्लॉट है, बाकी तो यूट्यूब की वजह से इनको बहुत अभी लेथार्जिक बना दिया है, एडवर्टाइजिंग वालों को भी। तो 50-50 सेकंड के, 60-60 सेकंड के ये आजकल एड्स बना रहे। अटेंशन स्पैन की ऐसी तैसी हो रही है लोगों की, येट उसमें भी चैलेंज है। चैलेंज यहाँ भी है। यहाँ मैंने 15 मिनट का टाइम लिया था, अभी मैं एक्सीड हो गया हूँ क्योंकि आप लोग बोर हो गए। चैलेंज होता है एवरी स्टोरी, एवरी मॉर्निंग आई बिगिन अफ्रेश। मुझे विदाउट बायलाइन वाली भी स्टोरी लिखना है तो मुझे 10 बार सोचता हूँ कि मैं इसको और कैसी अच्छी तरीके से लिखूं। 4 बार रिहर्स करता हूँ और दूसरे दिन जो छपकर आता है उसे भी 2 बार पढ़ता हूँ। तो आप पहली स्टोरी बोलोगे, आप दूसरी स्टोरी बोलोगे, अनलेस एंड अनटिल यू सी योर ओन स्टोरीज। खुद की गलतियां खुद ने निकालना सीखना चाहिए, तभी आप बहुत अच्छे स्टोरी टेलर बनोगे। और प्रिंट में जाना है तो और एक बार सोच लो, प्रिंट का भी लाइफ इतना खराब नहीं है। इंडिपेंडेंट की बात है तो आप बहुत क्रिएटिव लोग हो, ये जनरेशन। देयर आर सो मेनी वेज। हमारे जमाने में नहीं था, हमारे समय देयर वाज ओनली 3 मीडियम। प्रिंट था, आकाशवाणी था, तब तो एफएम भी नहीं थे 92 में व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड। और टेलीविजन पता है, टेलीविजन, रेडियो एंड प्रिंट, बस दैट वाज इट। अभी आपके पास इतने जरिए है यार, अभी तो आप ये किसी के यहाँ जाने की भी जरूरत नहीं है। इफ यू कैन क्रिएट गुड कंटेंट। कभी म्यूजिक की बात कर रहा था मैं, मुझे उसको इंटरप्ट करना था, बोल रहा था कि मैं मेरे इसके साथ, अरे बाबा तुझे किसी के पास जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। अब यू आर सच अ गुड कंपोजर, रिकॉर्ड इट, पुट इट ऑन सोशल मीडिया। अगर तुम्हारा बहुत अच्छा है तो आपको लोग पूछेंगे कि ये कितना अच्छा है। नहीं पूछेंगे तो आपको ही पता चलेगा कि किसी ने इंस्पायर होके आपके गाने से, आपके ट्यून से गाना बना लिया है, आप उसको पीआरबी एक्ट के थ्रू सू भी कर सकते हो, देन यू कैन बिकम पॉपुलर, फेमस, देन यू विल अराइव। ऐसे जरिए तभी नहीं थे, अभी तो हर एक के पास रास्ता है एक्सप्रेस करने का। एवरी मैन, एवरी वुमन ऑन द स्ट्रीट इज अ जर्नलिस्ट, एवरीवन इज एन इंफॉर्मेशन एग्जीक्यूटिव। इतना सोर्स है इंफॉर्मेशन का। सिर्फ आपको अच्छे प्रोफेशनल बनना है तो आपको उसमें का क्या कंटेंट अच्छा है, किससे इंस्पिरेशन लेना है, कॉपी पेस्ट नहीं। कॉपी पेस्ट करोगे तो आज इतना जमाना है डिजिटल, आपको 5 मिनट में कोई भी पकड़ लेता है इसने कॉपी पेस्ट किया है। पहले लोगों ने लाइफ बनाई कॉपी पेस्ट करके, क्योंकि देयर वाज नो वे टू वेरीफाई द कॉपी। तो ये 4 चीजें हैं ऑर्डिनरी एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी के लिए। ऑर्डिनरी क्या है समझ लो, ऑर्डिनरी बन के काम करो तो ही आपको एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी चीजें मिलेगी। और नई दुनिया से खुद से ऑनेस्ट रहो। देखो जर्नलिज्म में या इसमें कई बार बदमाशियां करनी पड़ती है, बदमाशियां नहीं ऐसी नहीं पैसे लेने वाली या करप्शन वाली बदमाशियां नहीं, बात किसी को करके, किसी से झूठ बोलकर इंफॉर्मेशन निकालनी होती है। दैट इज हाउ इट हैज वेरी ग्लोरिफाइड नेम, इन्वेस्टिगेटिव जर्नलिज्म, राइट। आपने बहुत सुना, इसमें एक बंदे ने बोला था हमारी इसको क्राइम रिपोर्टर बनना है, राजपुरोहित। बोले मैं क्या करूं? बोला घूमते जाओ बम्बई में, जाओ इधर उधर जाओ, अपनी स्टोरी तो ढूंढो क्या कर रहा है लोग, ट्रैफिक ब्रेक करे, पुलिस वाले ये कर रहे हैं, वो अपने पीछे वहाँ हाँ मोनोरेल के नीचे कैसा ट्रक को ये करते हैं, दैट विल बी योर स्टोरी। 2 दिन में हिट हो जाओगे, या तो पुलिस वाले तुमको पकड़ के लेके जाएंगे या फिर तुम्हारा वहां का जो बंदा है बोलेंगे साहब कल से हम नहीं करते, तुम्हारा नाम हो जाएगा। दैट इज द पावर ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंट मीडिया। अभी कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। You don't need to approach anyone to be a information giver, storyteller. आपको खुद के एक्सपीरियंस को होन करना है, स्किल्स अडॉप्ट करना है और सिचुएशन के साथ एडेप्ट करना है। There is a difference between ADOPT and ADAPT. These are 2 things that have made me successful, that have helped me in coping with my failures. और मैंने ये सुनता गया, मुझे जब बताया गया कि ये मत करो, मैंने वो नहीं किया। मैं अभी भी बताता हूँ ये मत करो, जिन्होंने सुना उसका अच्छा, नहीं सुना उसका। सो विद दिस नोट आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट। जो भी करना है अच्छा करो, आप अच्छा करोगे। आप लोगों के पास बहुत ताकत है, बहुत ब्रिलियंट। मैं भी देखता हूँ, डिजिटली देखता हूँ तो लोग क्या क्या नहीं कर रहे, कैसा कैसा कर रहे हैं, बियॉन्ड इमेजिनेशन। तो आप वैसे ही करो, अच्छा करो, ऑल द बेस्ट। पूछना है कुछ तो पूछ सकते हैं। थैंक यू। क्वेश्चन्स आहे बाबा काही? लवकर निपटून टाका 5 मिनिटात। ह्या दोघे जणी का हसत होत्या मला अजूनही कळलं नाही। वन वेअरिंग लॉन्ग स्लीव्स व्हाइट शर्ट अँड द अदर ऑलिव्ह ग्रीन. I have very keen eyes. I've lived my life, my career based only on my eyes. I'm very passive observer of things. मैं आपको ये चीज बोलना भूल गया। आप जितना, I'll use very popular word, जितना सुमड़ी में देखोगे उतना आप बहुत अच्छा करो। डोंट रिएक्ट, देखते रहो देखते रहो देखते रहो। एक्टर लोग वही करते, जर्नलिस्ट लोग वही करते। आप अगर मुझे बोलोगे इसमें के किसी को तुम क्या कर रही थी करके बताओ, तो मैं भी करके भी बता सकता हूं। इतना क्लोजली आप लोगों को देखना चालू करो, आपको बहुत मजा आएगा, बहुत काम में मजा आएगा। यू नो वॉचिंग पीपल इज, वो गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स या ओटीटी में जो, उससे भी बहुत अच्छा है। आई स्पेंड आवर्स टुगेदर सिटिंग एट नॉट कैफे, रोड के कोने में बैठ के सिर्फ लोगों को देखते रहो, कौन कैसा बिहेव कर रहा है, क्या कर रहा है, वेरी गुड स्टोरीज। ये क्यों ऐसा कर रहा है? सवाल कितने लोगों के मन में आते हैं? कुछ यहां देख के कुछ सवाल आते हैं कि यू ऑल्सो एक्सपेक्ट अदर्स टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस ऑन योर बिहाफ। to the government or your parent, पूछना जरा इनको कैसा है ना, एक टेंडेंसी होती है. कितने लोगों को क्वेश्चंस आते हैं मन में? अभी क्या क्वेश्चन है आपके मन में अभी फिलहाल, अपार्ट फ्रॉम कि ये कब बंद करेगा? बताओ बताओ. देखो, मैं एम वेरी एक्सपेंसिव पर्सन. मेरा टाइम बहुत, मैं आज पूरा दिन दिया आपके लिए, बिकॉज आई रियली लव टू बी अमॉन्ग किड्स ऑफ योर एज. मेरे लिए लर्निंग है. मैंने इतना फुल हाउस एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था कि इतने सारे लोग होंगे सब मिलके. पूछो यार, कुछ होगा तो. नहीं तो मेरा ऐसा बोल, मैडम को भी, बैनर्जी मैडम को भी बुरा लगेगा कि इसको क्यों बोला है, उसको लोग पूछ नहीं रहे. एक ही मीनिंग होता है उसका, या तो आपको मुझे सुन के बहुत बोरियत महसूस हुई, महसूस यानी लाइक फेल्ट. बेबी ये उर्दू वर्ड आपको बम्बई, अरे तेरे को कैसा लगा रे मेरे को देख के, ये बहुत ही बोर कर दिया है इसने, इस टाइप होगा तो आप बता सकते. पूछ लीजिए, कुछ भी पूछना है. कल किसने देखा वो से, कल आपको बोले धर्मेंद्र हो रहे कहाँ गया, क्या तुमको खबर ही आ रही, कहीं आ रही है तो पूछ लो जो भी पूछना है. फ्रैंकली नो, ये मैं 15 साल से सुन रहा हूँ. मैं 15 साल से सुन रहा हूँ. मुझे बहुत अच्छी सैलरी मिलती है, टाइम पे मिलती है, मुझे पर्क्स मिलते हैं, सभी मेरे कलीग्स को सबको मिलते हैं. इवन वी एनकाउंटर द पेंडेमिक, we started new initiatives. It was in doldrums, it appeared to be so, but we fought it out. Media doesn't die. है लोग अभी भी पढ़ने वाले हैं. And there is a pop. हाँ बोलो बेटा. Yes. First thing first, political reporting, what you read and what I have done is only 20% of what I knew. So there are 80% things that I cannot write about because I don't have evidence. If someone sues me tomorrow, this is very serious thing I'm telling you. All political editors will tell you this. And that 20% is like an RDX. 80% तो पता ही, बहुत सारी चीजें पता होती है, वो बाद में सच्ची भी होती है, लेकिन उस समय विद इन दैट अभी तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया है, वो चला के निकाल सकते हैं. आई मीन दे कैन से ये ऐसा ऐसा हो गया है, नेक्स्ट टाइम दे कैन डिलीट इट. बट द मीडियम which I am loyal to for 31 years can't do it. छप गया सो छप गया. So particularly in my genre, we have to be very cautious. We have to be very specific. There are source-based stories also. Most of it are source-based, but sources have to be very strong. And you have to take commitment from sources. You make sources who are truthful. And with that, not just sources, but a political reporter has to be a student of politics. He must observe things. He must read between the lines, be able to read between the lines. He must listen very carefully to what the politicians are saying, what the ground level political workers are saying, and more importantly, what common people in the street are saying. So this is not like a film review. 3 stars, khatam, aisa aisa kiya, waisa waisa. This is really like a khichdi, which cooks very well sometimes gets spoiled. थैंक यू। और कुछ बाबा? Should I call them in? The anchors, please come in. No questions, they are fed up. हाँ हो गया उनका, वो बोल रहा हूँ. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I called it. I handing it over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your extraordinary insight into the world of media, advertising, and journalism. We learned a lot today.
So, 6 ordinary lives और उनकी 6 extraordinary कहानियां. That was it for today. Let us give a big hand for this wonderful time that we had together. So it was me, Sakshi, and
Me, Ritika.
the anchors for today signing off. And now we call upon Siddhi to render the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I extend my sincere gratitude for outstanding success of Maadhyam 2023. Thanks to all the students, faculty, and our esteemed guest speakers for their collective effort. Special thanks to the students for their dedication. Our faculty, your guidance has been invaluable. Guest speakers, your insights enriched our event. Thanks to all the sponsors, volunteers, and behind the scenes team. To our audience, your engagement made it vibrant. As we conclude Madhyam, let us carry forward the knowledge and inspiration we gained today. Let us continue to explore the ever-evolving world of mass media and use our skills and insights to make a positive impact on our society. Once again, thank you one and all for your unwavering support and contribution to Madhyam. Your presence and efforts have made this event a resounding success. We look forward to your continued support in our future endeavors. Last but not the least, I would like to thank our head of department, Ms. Anandita Banerjee. She has been a constant source of inspiration and encouragement throughout planning and organizing this event. Let's give a huge round of applause for our HOD. Ma'am, I request you to please speak a few words. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Siddhi, Ritika, Sakshi. Amazing. You have been wonderful. How can we end the event without gratitude? And how can I end the event without my team? Can we have all the faculty members, Rumeli Sharma, Srinath Shankar, Shamta ma'am, Lakshmi Pillai ma'am on stage. And yes, this is the team. Of course, Mangal sir is not here. Thank you, Mangal sir. Harish, Nula sir, thank you so much. Principal ma'am, vice principals, CAO, and the management team. Where are you? And finally, I'm so proud of the audience today. Even Dharmendra sir said just now that look at the, auditorium here. It is so full and you all have been such wonderful audience. A huge round of applause for everyone. See you all in Maadhyam 2024. Dharmendra sir, thank you so much. You are an inspiration. Thank you so much, sir. Dharmendra sir, our students have created an after movie. So can we just watch it? After movie. Yeah. ethical journalism, and the protection of freedom of the press.
तो बरोबर तुझा प्रश्न पर मुझे लगता है कि यूथ आगे जाके बड़ा होने के बाद को भूलना नहीं चाहिए
To either become Devi on a pedestal there, or you have to feel like, fully painted and singing songs and in a RuPaul kind of situation.
And which should be part of your curriculum? Which should be what you should be taught?
That I was very fascinated drawing and painting since my school days.
Okay, last but not the least, how can we forget thanking Praveen sir and Parag sir? Where are you? Thank you, sir.
Akash, can we have QR code on the screen? Everyone, please scan the QR code and give us the feedback.
We encourage everyone to answer the feedback form right now. It won't take a lot of your time. Just scan the code and answer it. Thank you.